Check. So we'll starting in a couple of 2 minutes. Give us 2 minutes and we're going to start the event.
We live in an ever-changing digital world, but one thing remains the same. Women are underrepresented in the tech space. In Karnataka, female workforce participation in the IT/ITE sector is just 10.7%, while only 14.3% of the STEM workforce is occupied by women. But that's about to change. The Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, in association with Karnataka Skill Development Corporation, has launched the Women at Work initiative, designed to support and empower women in the technology sector. The Women at Work initiative offers a wide range of support and resources to help women succeed in their tech careers. From mentorship and networking programs to workshops and training opportunities, the initiative provides the tools and support necessary for women to pursue their dreams in the tech sector and return back to the workforce. We have already seen the impact of the Women at Work initiative. Here are some of the women leaders who have already left an indelible mark on the entrepreneurial world as they share their insights at the Women at Work conclave that was conducted as part of the Women at Work initiative in the 3 upcoming tech clusters of Beyond Bangalore: Hubli, Dharwad, Belgavi, Mysuru, and Mangalore.
Several government initiatives have enabled more and more women to get into entrepreneurship. There are policies that are supporting women entrepreneurs today, and they continue to. By 2030, we will have 150 to 170 million jobs created by women.
Over the years, if you really see, the women representation within the tech workforce in India is also on the rise.
We are graduating STEM is around 43%, so which is higher compared to any of the developed countries, as Madhu mentioned, like it could be US, UK, or Germany or France.
A lot of women leaders who are actually hitting and breaking that, historically stubborn glass ceiling.
Well, from the very beginning, we've always wanted to bring about economic drivers to Mysore, to bring about entrepreneurship, to promote entrepreneurship and innovation in Mysore through the first foundation that both my husband and I collectively set up, which was the Berunda Foundation. And through that, it led us to the aim or the goal to make Mysore the cybersecurity hub of India.
But if you see in the Indian context, especially in the metropolitan cities, etc., you take any STEM course, you see almost 50% girls.
We invite the active participation and proactive involvement of all the industry anchors, corporates, government policy makers, academicians, skilling partners, and job recruiters to help enable, engage, and empower women in building successful careers. Together, we can empower more women to succeed in the tech sector.
Coming to Women at Work, it's an outstanding platform, a unique platform, which is encouraging women to come to work, join work, and gain your economic independence. This is also a call out to all the women out there who are looking to join workforce. Come, contact us at Women at Work Initiative and find your way to work. Women at Work, choose your work and make it work.
Thank you so much for that video. Ellarigu namaskara. A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to all our partners from industry, startups, academia, government, and media to this special event today. At the outset, on the very special occasion of International Women's Day, I am honored to stand before you and celebrate the achievements of women around the world. This day is important to remember of the progress that we have made in promoting the gender equality. And also, it is important to reminder for the work that still needs to be done. Exactly a year ago, Dr. C.N. Ashwath Narayana, our Honorable Minister for Electronics, IT/BT, Higher Education and Skill Development, Government of Karnataka, launched the Women at Work initiative and provided us with his leadership and blessings as we celebrate 1 year anniversary of Women at Work. So what is Women at Work initiative? Why are we here today? So Women at Work initiative is a platform to enhance women participation in the workforce by engaging in skilling in emerging technologies and building competencies for employment and entrepreneurship, which includes facilitating return to work women who have taken career breaks. How do we do this? We do this through facilitating reskilling and upskilling programs for women that are designed by our industry partners, which are hosted on our Karnataka Skill Connect portal. As we hear today, to amplify and augment the existing industry efforts in increasing the women participation in the workforce and further encourage government and both industry folks to create more opportunities for women by providing them with necessary skill training and career support in excelling their chosen careers. As we all know, Digit-All, innovation and technology for gender equality being the theme for this year's International Women's Day, Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, in association with KSDC, will work with all stakeholders to achieve this objective. It's been my pleasure to welcome you all once again to this special event, and we look forward to working together to create more inclusive and equitable society. So without further ado, I take this opportunity to call upon two great dynamic leaders who have been instrumental in developing and executing the Women at Work initiative at Karnataka. Together, they both have demonstrated their commitment in promoting the gender equality, creating more inclusive and equitable society. Through their leadership and dedications, they have helped us bring great minds to create new opportunities for women in the workplace and inspire new generation of women leaders. I would like now invite Mr. Sanjay Gupta, CEO of Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, and Ms. Supriya Danda, Executive Director of ABS India, onto the stage to drive today's session and take it further. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bharat, for this kind introduction to the Women at Work initiative. First of all, happy Women's Day, Supriya.
Thank you so much, Sanjeev. Happy to be here.
And happy Women's to all of your friends here. Lovely. We are here today, almost completing an year of this initiative called Women at Work. And I was just sitting in an office and having a discussion with Supriya and looking at saying, hey, we thought about of doing something. Did we did something? Did we achieve something? Are we on the journey of creating an impact? A lot of questions were coming in my head. And then I thought, let's do a event where we can come together and share what has been done so far. But before I go ahead, let me also put forward my sincere thanks to Supriya for anchoring the Women at Work initiative as an industry anchor from the KDEM. She is volunteering her time, completely committed, devoted, passionate. She's looking forward to see how actually the impact can come at the grassroots level as well. So thank you, Supriya, for leading the process. And I know you have a great members of your team as well.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Very happy and so glad for the invitation. And I would have been silly not to accept. And it's such a fascinating platform. So I'm so happy, and I'm sure we are making good inroads. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Supriya, but seriously, look at the Women at Work. We thought about of attracting the women from career breaks, women who can look at employment opportunities, women as an entrepreneur, how we can, put an efforts together. So let's take a call and a discussion point of view. Did we did something last 1 year? Or we just slept aside in some corner and, talking about some news and etc. Or if yes, we did, and what are you planning to do? Can we say some impact?
So let me share first. Happy Women's Day to everyone in this room, including men and women, because I think we do it together. Very good evening to see you again. The initiative is the brainchild of Sanjeev, launched by, of course, our Deputy CM, Dr. Ashwath Narayan. However, I'm sure it's his brainchild. So imagine Sanjeev asking me that question. We did fabulously well, but there's always, from the corporate world, we're always thinking, what can we do more? So I think I'm not going to touch that. There's always room for improvement. There is always things when you look at life in rear view, you always know that, yeah, I wish I was different. We're not going to go there today. We're going to celebrate. We're going to accelerate the momentum. We're going to amplify the positive. So if you look at what we did, first we launched it. We created a platform. We created an opportunity for everyone to come in. Know that if you are in Karnataka, and we are not saying no to outside Karnataka either, but if you're within Karnataka, you're a woman who's got aspirations, you want to get skilled. Well, there is a beautiful partnership. WOW is in partnership with KSTC, skill development, and therefore they have a platform. Just go register. There is, my God, amazing number of programs that you can skill in. And since the economy mission is digital, our mission is digital, there's so many digital programs that you can skill in. Emerging technologies is pretty much the buzz today, and there is plethora of programs. So I think, Sanjeev, that has worked very well. The platform got launched. I was there at the launch. That was fascinating. Entrepreneurship, of course, we will have Dr. Ragpriya join us. We are looking at self-help groups. Just having her on board in itself is a gateway to what we can do more. So I think that's it. When we look at the women conclaves, we've had 3 wonderful conclaves. And when I remember we were there at most of them, we would look at the audience. The audience wasn't as mature, adult experience as we today, see in this forum. A good 70-80% were young students, young girls sitting there asking questions, getting excited and saying, we're always saying there are no role models. Wow, there are excellent role models, because the panel was absolutely amazing. You saw a little bit snippet through the video. We had LinkedIn, VMware, you talk about industry that wasn't represented. And I think we did fairly well. And now the mission to have 5 lakh women get jobs. I think Sanjeev,
you're talking about 500 or 5,000?
500,000 women.
My God.
Is our mission to get them employed, because we are saying, when we are saying women at work, there's an echo. When we're saying women at work, we are talking about skilling is important, extremely critical. If you're unskilled, that's a raw material to get a job. But if you don't have a job, then skilling in itself is not, it's a means to an end. So we are very clear that we have a joint target of making that work. And the journey starts today. So we will be looking at job fairs, exclusive women-oriented skill-based, digital skill-based job fairs. So I think, Sanjeev, congratulations to us. I think we are off to a good start.
Good. That's a really good impact, actually.
Yeah.
If you see, talking about 500,000 jobs coming up for the women, and the launch of Karnataka Skill Connect portal was a great significant achievement for us.
Yeah.
What is the energy coming in? Is there talking slowly, going on slow steps, or this really good energy in the community where you find?
I think we do find, especially when we're looking at, there is women at work, and then you combine the beyond Bangalore. Bangalore has energy. I don't think anyone, no matter what happens to the roads, the infrastructure, we are all here today. We've made it work. We've reached on time. I know some of you have flown from outside Bangalore, have to go somewhere else, Rajita. I mean, I just know that, the energy in Bangalore is palpable. completely. It's a spirit like they say, Mumbai, you can't take it away. We can't take it away. So Bangalore is done. What I love is, and by the way, Sanjeev was also looking at doing this event at another place. Needed a little bit of coaxing to have it done in Bangalore. Otherwise, we would have all been sitting in Hubli, Dharwad, Mangaluru or Mysore, and those are great. But the energy there is palpable. There is excellent talent. I think we need to, lesson for me and all of us, if I may say that, we need to get out of the city bias. We need to get out of some of the biases. And today is a day to dispel all notions that we know it all biases, stereotype, and go beyond. So if we combine both, we are looking at solving the GDP problem of India. We're looking at actually demographic dividend, making it work. And I think Karnataka and KDEM is leading it. Sanjeev.
Show me where it is.
So let's talk about our cluster leads. Because it will be only fair that a person who does the job talks about it. So let's have them. Chitra is unwell today, can't join, but we'd love to have Medha, who's looking at the cluster. And then we have Shailaja, the Mangalore, and Medha is the Mangalore cluster. We'd love to have them talk. So Bharat, over to you to patch them in.
We can go to Mangalore cluster leaders. Ms. Shailaja Rao, who is leading the Mangalore cluster. Please take it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Supriya. Hi, Sanjeev.
Hi, Sanjay.
Hi. So great to see you all. Wish I was there physically present, but nevertheless, some other day. So great, start. I think like Supriya mentioned, we had a great start, last year. We flagged off this event. Post that, we had multiple sessions that we tried to conduct. In the Mangalore cluster, we tried to create a little bit of buzz about it by connecting with various incubators that are there in the academia. We spoke to various startups, which are there in this region. We have about 200 plus companies. So we tried to connect with them and have them, register on the skill portal. And also we tried, having certain sessions like the startup, day, the Mangalore Entrepreneurs Day. We had various sessions. We were also fortunate to identify 2 strong women network groups in Udupi and Mangalore region who are doing fantastic work. There is Power Team and there is Evolve Team. These 2 teams are doing great job. Power Team conducted a fabulous event which had a great footfall, a lot of showcasing of art culture, and Evolve has done a lot of walkathons and health sessions, self-defense sessions, entrepreneur sessions. So great going. I think we were taking small steps, but I'm sure we will do much more and be able to achieve much more results for future. I'm sure of that.
Thank you, Shailaja. Excellent leadership by you. We wouldn't have been able to do anything without your leadership. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, Sanjay. This is great to know. But in fact, she was talking about 500,000 digital jobs, especially looking at women candidates. You're looking at what, 10,000, 50,000 or 300,000?
Yeah, in fact, we're looking at a much larger number. And while I'm talking, I also have a few leaders, have joined us online. And maybe, I can ask the team of Nevius to kind of, speak a little bit from their end too, because they had a fantastic number to quote. They mentioned that they had about 50% of their workforce as women. And that was a fantastic number for, me as well. I was very happy when I heard that. And they are putting their efforts in terms of, increasing and having ensured that that number is maintained from their end. So that's definitely a great, achievement in itself, I would say. And I hope to see more and more companies achieving, this number or beating this number, I would say.
We'd love to hear from her.
Yes, Rashmi or Shipra, maybe you could speak a little more from your end.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much, Shailaja, for that opportunity. I think we're doing our bit to, kind of create those opportunities for women. And like Shailaja rightly quoted, we've got about, closing 50% of our workforce who are women. We are actively, kind of getting involved in providing opportunities for second career women. So, we've made good strides over there, and we're also an equal opportunity employer. So I think what we've realized in our journey is that it's definitely been a win-win situation for all of us. And Nevius being an organization that, is very, very keen on promoting local talent, very keen on, trying to create opportunities for employability for both men and women, and especially whatever we could do in in kind of, uplifting our fellow women, we would, definitely try and, do that, because we've realized that, the skills are there, and sometimes it's the opportunity that sort of, lacks. And if we can, enable that, why not? So I think it's worked beautifully for us, and we will continue to do, the work we possibly can do to support the cause. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Great work, Shipra.
Thank you, Shailaja. That was fascinating. Shipra, thank you so much. Happy to see 50-50. Once that happens, maybe Sanjeev.
You know what happens, Shipra, is this company called Neversus. They started some time back in Udupi and in Bangalore with some around 70-80 people. A very small team. Today, guess how many people they are? 800 plus. In just a matter of 7, 8, 10 months period of time. So friends, they are into 50% of employability with the women workforce. Give a big hand for them.
Absolutely.
Other shining stars here.
Absolutely. Medha, can we have you? Yeah,
we
Sanjeev?
have Prashant, who is stepping in for Chitra Uttaya from Mysore.
Okay.
Yeah, from Excel. Yes. Prashant, you can go ahead.
Sure.
Hi. Hello, sir.
Hi, Prashant.
Namaskar. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Very good afternoon.
Priya.
Good to see in this
everyone.
frame a man coming in talking about of the world. Good to see this.
Yes, and you're sure that's a very high women representation on the screen. So that's noteworthy. All right. As Supriya mentioned earlier, Chitra is unwell. Yeah, so I'm standing in for her. Some of the things I picked up from her is that there are certain activities happening in Mysore. Particularly, the focus has been to sort of synchronize, like how KDEM does, synchronize the activities of other agencies, be it Chamber of Commerce or CII or the TIE, or maybe the various industry associations of various industrial areas. So it's about synchronizing the efforts of all these associations and organizations vis-a-vis women at work is concerned. That is one of the things that she's trying to do. And of course, service starts from home is what we all believe. So at Excelsoft, which is the company which Chitra and I represent, there has been an effort to focus on bringing in parity, bringing in so to say gender equality. It's not about equality, it's about representation. It's about proper, appropriate representation. We are making our efforts. Instead of talking about what we are doing at Excelsoft, I have my colleague here, Manjula. Manjula is head of HR at Excelsoft. So I would want her to give a very quick 1-minute account on what are the efforts that she has done at Excelsoft vis-a-vis women at work is concerned. All right. Thank you very much for this opportunity, sir. I'll talk to you soon sometime later. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Manjula, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Prashant. Happy Women's Day to everyone. Actually, as Prashant mentioned, we are very proud to say that for last 1 year, our gender ratio is increased, and we have had about 372 associates in last 1 year. And out of that, more than 200 women associates. So it's close to 54%. So we are very proud of it, and we consciously look into it when we do the hiring. We give more importance to women colleagues, women and candidates, and we also believe that the productivity rate is high. From women employees when compared to men. I'm sorry, there are many men colleagues here. So because they have a lot of patience, and even at the leadership level, women can do wonders. That's what we have observed in Excelsoft, not just Excelsoft. I think we have many such success stories. So we give a very conscious effort to hire women colleagues. And apart from that, we have POSH committee. So we take care, we give importance to safety of our women employees.
So thank you so much, Manjula. So we have Vidya Patel from Velux Solutions, again from Mysore, is willing to have a complete women-centric cybersecurity hub. So Vidya, over to you. Please, if you can quickly touch upon that.
Yes, very Good afternoon, one and all. And on this occasion, I would like to wish all the women a very happy Women's Day. And I wish all women to continue to make difference in the lives of everyone around the world. So here, why cybersecurity and why women in cybersecurity? I just want to give few lines on that. Women are well prefer to the cybersecurity field because they possess a unique set of skill set that are highly valued in the industry. Women tend to have strong problem solving analytical skills as well as attention to detail and eye for spotting potential threats. Women also have natural aptitude of coding and making them well suited for programming and development of software. So women have special qualities of multitasking and protection of data. Is I know we all are naturally, we are tend to protect whatever it may be, maybe starts from the family to the work. So this is considering the women power in the field of cybersecurity. Our managing director, who is an IITian, Dr. Mangesh Amale, is setting up India's first all-women cybersecurity development center at Mysore.
Awesome.
So, yes, currently we are already we are starting hiring women workforce for our Mysore center, and we have a vision of having more than 800 plus women powered facility at Mysore. So yes, so Velox Solutions is privileged to join hands to grow with KDEM Mysore cluster. With the support of Mr. Sudhir, we already have a contact of skill development centers where they are skilling up students on Java and certain softwares, which is required for us to get the women onboarded. And
thank you so much, Vidya.
Yeah, thank you,
so much for
and
that
thank you all.
wonderful work you're doing at Mysore.
Thank you, Bharat Ratna. Vidya, thank you so much. Vidya said we are natural coders, we are natural problem solvers, and there's a little bit of a problem we need to solve right now. So we're going to switch gears. And I'm a woman, so I'm taking the liberty to solve that problem. We have a very distinguished guest amongst us who needs to leave, and it'll be such a missed opportunity if she leaves and we don't hear her. So we are going to flex a bit. And we're going to invite Professor Rajita Kulkarni, President Shishi University, and maybe talk about her a bit. Thank you. Little bit.
Professor Rajita Kulkarni is
No, that's enough. Save another 2 minutes. एक line तो बोलने दो रजता, audience के लिए, आपके लिए नहीं, you know yourself, but this is only for the audience.
Professor Rajita Kulkarni is a successful banker turned educator, a best-selling author, a global thought leader, and a transformational leadership coach. She has trained over 1 lakh people in last 3 decades and over 1 million hours of training and development expertise. She has addressed over 5,000 public events, including prestigious platforms like United Nations, World Bank, European Parliament, FIFA, and more. She is currently holding multiple prestigious positions with various organizations and institutions.
Thank you. When you throw in names like that, well, it definitely gets my adrenaline going, and I'm sure it does have similar impact. Rajita, thank you so much. And thank you for accommodating, landing in today morning, now, looking at traffic in Bangalore and reaching to Shishi University. Question. We were just talking about listening to skills, and you're doing such a great job. Talk to us about how much are we doing in education? What can women do more? Where is the education coming in, where perhaps we are creating women leaders of tomorrow?
Yeah, so firstly, I must say a big thank you to you, Supriya, for making me part of this really amazing initiative. After you spoke to me, I had a chance to read about it more. So Sanjeev and the whole team, big congratulations. I think we are at a time of life for us as a world, especially post-COVID, where this topic is more relevant than ever. And I am one more time very grateful that you called me here today, because I met a friend of mine from school after 38 years today. Vidya is here. We used to sit, Vidya, stand up. We used to sit next to each other. We were bench mates.
Wow.
And 1985 is when I met her last. And thanks to being here, I met her today. So your platform is a huge success already. I can say that to you. So coming to this topic, we all know the data. We all know that today, if I look at my undergrad batch, or if I look at even the postgrad batch, we have a good percentage of girls. In my undergrad programs, we have about 25 of them. About 53 to 55% students are girls. As you move to postgrad, that might come to about 40%. In STEM courses, it is even less. Somehow in doctoral programs, that percentage evens out again. You come to a 45 to 50%. And when you come to lower level junior management, again, we see, I mean, all of you here are senior leaders in your own teams, a good 45, 50, 60% sometimes can be women employees. Now, the challenge starts happening as you start rising up the hierarchy. And I find that there are two tracks we need to look at. One is what I call the double whammy years. For a woman, the age from 30 to 50 is a complete, it is double whammy because your biological clock is going against your professional clock. Once that is done, then you start looking at elder care at home, seniors care at home. So what I feel is that if we need to ensure more women at the workplace, as institutional leaders, we need leadership intentionality to create ecosystems that will enable women to stay put. If I look at my LinkedIn profile, so many of my bright friends today may not be in professional roles because of these situations. So I think this is a shout out to all of us who are in leadership positions, that what can we do intentionally to create ecosystems? That is one part. The second part, what you asked, is about the skill gap. I think in India, we have begun to do a bit from an academic point of view. You look at NUS, for example, in Singapore, or you look at any of the American or the European universities, there are a number of lifelong learning programs, which hitherto, I don't think we've had so many in India. But today, thanks to probably COVID, which accelerated virtual learning spaces, I think we have more and more universities. Like we have a program which is a master's in yoga. Okay, it's not a typical skill, but a master's in yoga program. The average age of learners in that program is 45. The oldest person is 73 years old. So if you have a study space where the youngest student is 17 and the oldest is 73, it also gives you multi-generational adaptability skills. So I think in academia, we need to do more to introduce lifelong learning programs. In COVID, for example, we launched a number of short-term programs, certificate programs, sort of diploma programs, which you do online, which you do hybrid sometimes. So that is number one. I don't think there is enough of it. And if, for example, there are tangible skill gaps that can be identified as number 1, 2, and 3, then there is a lot of scope in us joining together and saying, okay, you need these skills, we can develop programs for these skills and do a complete value chain of a partnership from beginning to end. So I think there is a possibility there. We are doing in Srishu University a number of short-term programs, which are skill-based, but there is a scope to do more.
Awesome. Fabulous. Thank you so much. This is fascinating. I have one more question. And then we'll let you go. It's taken so long. We're still talking 100, 115 years. And this is a puzzle that I know that even Sanjeev and I, when we sit down and chat, we are like, we are doing now today. And there's so much to do at the entry level, mid and senior. And yet there is this culture, ecosystem, which needs to change. And you alluded to it with intentionality. But Rajita, what can we do more from academia, I would say, and you've been a part of corporate too, wherein the ecosystem can probably breathe, loosen up a bit more? I don't know what the answer is, to say that it should now not take another 100 years for us to get there, right? Where we should have probably got 50 years back, is if I were ambitious.
Yeah, it's a tough one. There is no easy answer to that. But what I feel is that platforms like this, I feel there are 3 things required. Number one, if there is a skill gap, address it with education. That's a clear match. If there is an opportunity gap, then there need to be platforms, networks, programs like this, initiatives like this, which can help bring opportunities, marry both the columns of people available and people needed. So that's the second part. And the third part, especially because before you spoke about women coming back to work, is the confidence gap. Because I may have the skill, I may even have an opportunity in front of me, but I feel, oh my God, 10 years I've been out of the workforce. Can I really do it? And that's where I feel the role of mentoring and coaching is very, very vital. So if these three things can be done, the skill part is the easiest to do, I feel, because you need to learn coding, you go learn coding. But then the confidence gap and the opportunity gap, if those two can be addressed, and those are not difficult to do either. Sure. I look at it as a three-way path. And should we do it fast? Yes.
More fast.
Faster, yes. And I think that's why programs like these, structured programs like these are, I messaged you that the aspiration which you have on the website clearly articulated. It's a great first step because you are putting a number to it. And I mean, I'm quite impressed, Sanjeev, that you all started this celebratory afternoon making a report card for yourself in a way. And I think that's such a great spirit to, track to how we are moving. So this is how I feel.
Fascinating, Rajatani. We thought we had a metric. Well, you've given us a few more. So I think our scorecard is going to look probably different after this. Thank you. We're not going to wait you any longer.
Thank you.
Really
I'm really
appreciate your presence.
sorry for kind of interrupting, but thank you for accommodating.
We're just flexing. So thank you so much, Sanjeev.
I think I want to thank you for friends. She is committed now for the Women at Work initiative to not only just say, help to us, but actually strategize more deeper.
Yeah, sure.
And give her wisdom. We're looking for her wisdom to come forward to us and execute some of the great ideas that you bring on the table.
Sure.
So, ma'am, thank you so much for being partnering with us with the KDEM. And on behalf of KDEM and KSDC, we welcome you to this gang of thinking processes.
I'm a Bangalore person. I lived here for many years, so already at home. Thank you very much.
So it's here. Thank you so much.
Namaste. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rajita. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bharat, should we go back to the, where do you want to take us now?
So we can go back to the Hubli cluster.
Hubli cluster.
I want Ms. Meda Power to take this forward.
Meda, can we have you?
Yeah, I'm here. A very good evening to all of you and happy Women's Day. So I really thanks to have that platform where we can see that. Can you hear me?
Very clearly, Meda.
Okay, yeah, that's great. So I'm really happy that, okay, this platform has been given for the women to come in back again to the workforce and promoting for the women. If I look at it, we are having actually, there is a industrial partnership with the TAI, the startup of the Deshpande Foundation and the chamber who is supporting us for the coming forward for looking how can we bring the women into the main force. So that's really great actually, and KDEM always will be there and it's supporting, collaborating with this our industrial partners, and we have done a lot of work towards it, a lot of programs for the bringing the women in the mainstream. So basically through TAI we have collaborated with the pitch competition for the women to come and give the pitches so that they can pitch their business before the investors, and this time at the global level that too. And we have seen they have done a great job actually. Even we have seen that chamber is also promoting the women wing again, very collaborating with the KDEM, and the Deshpande Foundation startup, which is supporting all the time for the mentoring for whatever it's they are always ready. So that way we are getting support and we are also working with them. And here I would like to say about the Chetna Sarang, who is the founder and CEO of Tatmesh EduTech. She is actually training to the thousands of students for the artificial intelligence and the data science. Chetna, are you there? You can say about few words about how you are doing your business.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm privileged to be talking and sharing my experience amongst you. I have been training professionals and students in AI technologies since 2019. I would like to talk about one incident and one line in general. So the incident sums up to a woman who regained her job or after a break who came back. So I have been training many. Let me give you the statistics. Out of the AI jobs available, only 22% of the jobs are taken up by women. Rest are all men in the stream of AI. And when it comes to being specialist, there are only 9% of women, rest are all men. So this is alarming condition. I would like to talk about one incident where a lady who had 12 years of break after her maternity, who could not come, who approached me in 2021, late 2021. She was not even confident of signing into her Gmail account. Such a person underwent training with all the confidence. Today, she is appointed as an associate professor in the Department of Artificial Engineering in Mangalore. She comes from Belgium, but she lives in Mangalore. So I'm so proud of her because she is a proof that all this can be done. AI, and she comes from an electrical background, from electrical engineering with 12 years of gap, thriving into AI. I take her example everywhere. So there are examples we can reskill. We usually tend to complain that after a break, we are not accepted anywhere. The point is that we don't accept to get out of our comfort zone. Otherwise, the world is open to accept all of us. This is a hard truth. And one line I would like to tell to conclude is that AI, we all of us should get into the AI forces because AI has to be responsible, and more men being there and women not being there will not lead the AI systems to generalize the decision making, and it is a serious threat to all of us. So let us all get into skill ourselves into AI and take up AI roles. Thank you so much for giving me.
Thank you, Chetna. That was really great, actually.
Medha, I'm really, Medha, just 1 minute here. I mean, coming in between, I could see Prashant there from Hubli now. We had a Prashant from Mysore, right? And I think, Shailja, you need to find one Prashant from Mangalore. So back to you, Medha.
Okay. Yeah, that's great, actually. All Prashants are there. Yeah.
Medha, thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah, one more actually. There is a Chaitra Devte also, who is actually giving the opportunity. She is a chief managing head. Are you there, Chaitra? Can you put forward for some few words actually?
Yeah, hello everybody. Happy Women's Day to everyone who are there today. Here, thank you so much. Thank you, Medha ji, and thank you, KDEM, for giving this opportunity to be part of this discussion. Yeah, coming to the company, Mountain Flower Animation, which was started in 2020, and since its start, we have been focusing. We have this major goal of training rural candidates. So basically, we are into animation sector, and we see that there are a lot of men who are working in this animation, and there is lack of opportunity for women. But we being in a tier 2 city, we are giving opportunity for women. We have been training women, and also I believe that women have the natural talent in art. For the same, we have designed a program where we are providing the women with a lot of training facilities, and also supporting them, educating them about the animation. And with this, they can excel in this industry of animation by providing high quality of storyboarding and animation. Till date, we have visited a lot of schools where we are training women to drive them into this animation sector. So I do not have a great number of telling that we are trained so much of people, or the workforce has so much of percentage of women. But to be very frank, we will be in few years down the line, we'll be in the verge of 50% of workforce in our company will be women.
Great.
And with that, thank you so much, KDEM and others, for having me here. Thank you.
Thank
you,
you.
Chaitra.
Yes.
Thank you, Chaitra. Thank you, Medha, so much.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Supriya, I think I should give you a thank you note once again, because you, Shailja, Medha, and Chitra has done in 1 year at least create a wise going from not only in Bangalore corporates to the Bangalore-based institutions, but to these three clusters. And the corporates are looking at the agenda of 100% workforce like Velox, 50% workforce. And he was talking about of 800 people now. I think these numbers itself shows that a lot of efforts and work has gone through. Thank you so much, Supriya and everybody else.
Thank you, Sanjeev. We are in it together. I think we are collaborating. And one of the things that I could pick up was, one, these women are doing absolutely outstanding job. And it's lovely to see beyond Bengaluru work, Mysore, Hubli, Dharwad clusters. I think what's also coming together is there's a lot of work happening, Sanjeev, in pockets. There's TIE being mentioned, there's FICking being mentioned. And I think the fact that all of us are coming together, NASCOM is being mentioned. So I think that's fascinating, because at the end of the day, there's, KDEM is, looking at all these industry bodies and collaborating, and I think taking that forward. So I would congratulate you for that, to say thank you for your leadership.
I take all the credit. Thank you so much.
And thank you for cross collaborating. I have a question now. Thank you so much, team on video. Please continue to be with us. Your presence is absolutely awesome. And we're happy, right? Technology integrates us. We're talking about, and we soon get to a segment on industry, but tell us about what the government is doing. Where's policy coming? What else is happening in terms of making this entire thing work, Sanjeev? Give us a preview into that.
So you're asking about what government is doing in the field of creating the women workforce.
Women at work, promoting that.
If you want to know this answer very clearly, then let me invite my colleague, my friend, and the Managing Director for Karnataka Skill Development Corporation, Mr. Ashwin Gowda, on the dais, and let him talk about it. He's the one who is leading from front. We are the one who is just standing and helping you out to do the right things. But over to you, share what great work you're doing in KSDC and what the entire government of Karnataka is efforts towards. Over to you, Ashwinji.
Thank you. So first of all, happy Women's Day to all. And thanks to Sanjeev sir and Ms. Supriya for inviting me to be a part of this event. Thank you. So regarding this, actually, I was listening to Professor Rajita. She was talking about 3 gaps. One is skill gap, opportunity gap, and confidence gap. So I would suggest that, that's what I think that if you get a proper skill, if you are properly skilled, I think, the confidence automatically comes up, right? So only when I'm not skilled, only when I don't have the proper knowledge, then I'll be like, I'll be shortage of confidence sort of. Yes, this is what we have been doing. Actually, skill development department under government of Karnataka actually was set up in 2017-18, very niche department though. But under that, we are working, and our basic mandate is basically to promote this short-term skill training to all the youth of the state. And on an average, we do provide training to almost 60,000 candidates. And I'm happy to say that almost 65% of these 60,000 candidates are women. Wow. So, that too across various sectors like agriculture, aviation, apparels, IT, ITES, sorts of all sectors. We do operate in almost 30+ sectors and 200+ job roles. And we also provide placement opportunities to the candidates, who get trained with us. And this is, see, the number which I'm talking about, 60,000, is only out of the government funds. However, we do partner with the private organizations and the NGOs like Wadhwani Foundation, Nandi Foundation, then Microsoft Foundation, Dell Technologies, so on and so forth. We do, interact with, collaborate with almost 15+ foundations, wherein when it comes to a women's segment, we have already trained exclusively for women. We have trained almost 11,000 candidates in Python, digital marketing, and agriculture by Nandi Foundation. And with Wadhwani Foundation, currently we are starting this employability skills for all the ITI students. Again, the percentage of women is also more in that. So, apart from that, we do, with the support of KDEM and ITBT department, we are also, we have come up with a program called Talent Accelerator Program, wherein, those who are in their final semester of engineering, BCA, BSc, so they will be provided with necessary skill training. She was talking about AI, so we do provide that. And currently almost around 5,000 candidates have been trained in that, and 50%, more than 50% of them have been placed. So these are related to, the regular, apart from that, we do come up with several initiatives like Skills on Wheels, that is exclusively meant for the physically challenged and the young people, and also rural women, where there is no access for them to come out and get trained. So we are sending our mobile training center to them, and to basically for skill training. And then and apart from that, we also have come up with training of trainers, master trainers, and so on and so forth. Language labs are all there. That is to promote this communication skills to our students. So this is what we have been doing. And Off late.
But the new initiatives that you've done, great magic that you're creating now, and the buzz which is going across the Karnataka Skill Connect portal. Can you just explain that, what exactly it is and why it is so important?
Yes. So off late, again, with the support of KDEM, actually, KSDC, both of them have worked together, actually. So we have come up with a portal called Karnataka Skill Connect portal, which is more or less on the lines of your Naukri and Monster. See, Naukri and Monster, basically, they do cater to the mid-level and higher managerial level positions, wherein under Skill Connect portal, actually, we cater to the freshers segment. So what we have done is actually, it is not just the basic objective of the portal is to connect the employers and the prospective employees, the job aspirants. However, it is not confined to that. Rather, it also provides an opportunity for the students to undergo their psychometric test. So they'll get to know about their shortcomings and areas where they are good at. And accordingly, in case if they are, the behavioral traits will be identified in that assessment. And if they are facing any shortcomings, then accordingly, the AI-based engine will pop up the necessary courses for them. Again, Professor Ajita was talking about developing after COVID a lot of online-based the courses, and the training has come up. So that is again an opportunity in our portal too. So the AI-based engine will pop up the courses, and accordingly both paid and free courses. So we have also tied up our portal with several the online content providers like Infosys Springboard, IBM Skills Builds, wherein we have got both the paid as well as free courses. So the candidates are free to undergo those courses, get themselves upgraded, and then come back and again apply for the job. So that is one thing. And this is the most important because, see, we have been conducting the job fairs all across the states, okay? And we do interact with the industries, and we have got our industry linkage. I'll come back to it later. So, whenever we have an interaction with them, the only thing they say is that, the candidates are okay with their domain skills, but when it comes to soft skills, they're not even able to draft a proper email. Okay, so that is the kind of anomaly that we have got. Anyways, that we are addressing though, with the support of KDEM and KSDC, both are working. So in this regard, this is an opportunity for the students to upgrade themselves, come back and apply for the job. And then there is again a tech assessment tool wherein, suppose if I want to be a data scientist, I can take that test and get to know where exactly I'm lacking. And again, the courses will be popped up. I can get upgraded, and then come back and apply for the job. That is how it is. And then apart from that, various other features are there, like, the companies can post their gig projects, both paid as well as free projects. The candidates can take it up. And then mentoring supporters there, which all have been doing. So the industry bigwigs, they'll become our mentors, and they'll provide us webinars and sessions. It's sort of a career guidance for the candidates. So they'll get to know about the opportunities in various sectors like logistics, what is the opportunity for me, and ITES or telecommunication, hospitality, healthcare sector, what is the opportunity, everything will be given to them. And the professors from IIM Ahmedabad, they've all become our mentors currently. So that is this is how the portal is. And apart from that, again, several other features are also there, but because of paucity of time, I'm not going to. But I request all of you to kindly, to please go through it. Get yourself registered over there. And also, in case if you're an industry partner, I request you all to kindly, post your vacancies. In fact, we have an operations team back in the office wherein, that as and when the vacancies are posted, immediately they'll contact the industry, and then the AI-based engine will be operated, and then the candidates list will be fetched and give it to them. So that is how it is functioning. So we have a very full-fledged operations team to operate this portal. So I request all of you to kindly make use of this initiative of the government.
Ashwinji, many thanks for your great leadership. Friends, you find a bureaucrat who is more passionate towards the job. Otherwise, I have seen in my career the great leaders I've seen, but there are many bureaucrats I've seen as well who come into the job, but doesn't stands up on the toes, run it around, partner with the industry, request them to partner with us, sometimes behave like a selling agent.
In fact, so sorry for the interruption. Though, in fact, yesterday I got a call from the founder of Data Samudra. Somebody was talking about data security, cyber thing. So he called me and he told me that from our portal he has hired 30 candidates.
Lovely.
And that was a great.
This is what. So really we find like you, Ashwinji. We wish that many more leaders like you come into the bureaucracy and help us to create magic of the Karnataka Skill Connect portal. Last question before I take up the discussion forward, is that you have another element where you say that industry, don't worry, we'll take care of your demand. Just give us from that level, no cost to you. Can you elaborate? Because this message needs to go to the larger audience as well. And especially the efforts that the KSDC is putting together to create those demands at the local level and fulfill it at no cost to the industry.
Correct.
Can we just elaborate a little bit more on that?
Sure. Actually, see, the skill development earlier, it was more into sort of a supply driven, in the sense, it was not based on the demands of the industries, but off late, actually, we have started this. So we created a cell called industry linkage cell, wherein, we do interact with the industries, we do conduct this industry sector specific industry conclaves and connect with the industries and get the demands from them. And accordingly, we'll work for their demands and then create, skill the candidates and give it to them for deployment. Or otherwise, we'll also give an opportunity to them, to become our training partners. We will fund their training activities. So they must be having sort of training infrastructure. So we will ask them to, get empaneled with us, and then, we'll fund their training activities. They can conduct the training and provide captive employment. So currently, like, if you look at the companies like Sansara Technologies, Flipkart, eCart, Escorts in agricultural segment, and then Electronic City Industry Association, Mysore Industry Association. So they've all become our training partner. In fact, Lind, one of the major operators in oxygen cylinders, which is currently operating from Bellary. So now they have become our training partner. So with Flipkart Supply Chain Operations Academy is there. So we are currently mobilizing the candidates for them. And then ICICI Foundation, again, we are mobilizing candidates for them for their banking and retail related activities training. So they also provide employment. So with this, again, I make a pitch to all the industry players here to kindly make use of the opportunities that we are providing. So we will fund the training activities under special projects category, like whatever may be the training cost. So it's government initiative too. Thank you.
Supriya, you were asking me what government is doing. Do you want to know more here? What government is doing? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashwinji. This is as amazing as one would expect, or probably sometimes not expect, like Sanjeev said, fascinating. I remember many conversations with Ashwinji, and they were like truly a passionate salesperson saying, he's like, I'll get you the people, I'll scale, I even pay for them. All you do is get industry on board. Demand is what you guys should focus on. The supply, don't even think about it. I mean, that's fascinating. So thank you so much for that. Super leadership.
But so, Supriya, I have go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
First. No, you go ahead first.
That was it.
Women's Day, please go ahead first.
Oh, I was complimenting a man again. So I was saying, thank you, Ashwinji.
Lovely. Supriya, we have heard a lot about the government and the interactions with Ashwin about how we create a magic of the women participation in the workforce and what are the different policies, initiatives, programs, and portals have been created. Industry becomes a very important pillar, right? And as you just said that Ashwin is talking about industry and how do you bring industry closer to the system? And we play an important role in determining what we should do, how we should do, and start executing with us as well. I would love to know a little bit more about what industry is doing with you, how they're partnering with you, what you have done with last year. Is there New Year's targets it picking it up from the industry perspective?
Sure.
And maybe my audience will also be looking forward to set some deeper knowledge about the industry participation and
absolutely. I think at the end of the day, there is skilling, there is confidence, there is opportunity. Where it's all going to end up? It's all going to end up in a corporate, right? It's all going to end up in industry. The absorbing power that industry has, obviously, that's going to make India tick. Oh, you ask a question and you disappear. Okay. So industry is a great partner, Sanjeev, and I'll talk about in 2-3 areas. I remember we had barely launched Women at Work initiative March 8, 2022. And we were still getting our stuff ready. We were, figuring out, okay, here's the mission. Bharat, you remember those multiple conversations. And yet VMware was like knocking on the door to say, I'm ready to offer the programs and can we do a webinar? And we're like, just give us a moment. We're just kind of getting the wheels oiled. And then, and I know sometimes the wheels, the oil, everything kind of takes time. And then every 2 weeks, and then, again, Bharat is like, Supriya, can we do this? And I'm like, give me another week. So my 2 weeks, 2 weeks. But here is an industry, and we will soon hear from Ram. It's amazing. I mean, how you do it. And then that was our first webinar. They were offering courses. They were offering excellent opportunities. So I think that's a huge example of industry saying, we are ready. Are you ready? I think that was one. The other is we are signing memorandum of understanding. We're signing multiple MOUs with companies. I think I would say we are not going to announce a number to that because it's got to be real. It's got to be demand based. You have to look at economic trends, all of that. But that's what, Sanjeev, we are doing. We're looking at MOUs, and the team is working passionately towards that. And I think Bharat will announce at some point few that we've signed. And when I say MOU, the idea is give us demand. And of course, we will then have Ashinji completely flood them with the relevant, skilled, confident supply. So I think that's second. The third, which we will unfold now, is we've had so much of conversation on how institutes, academic institutions are sometimes not in sync, not in tune, not in, times. So we are looking at saying, well, they need to train what they need to train, right? What industry can absorb. So we thought if we have to get WOW initiative, right? Women at Work. Well, let's get industry leaders coming in and guiding and being our counsel. So there is a design thinking, right? Let's ask the customers what they want and then go ahead and deliver. So we are constituting executive council, which is kind of taking shape as you and I talk. And in that, we've got them guiding. And by the way, you and I spoke about it, that we've got these great stalwarts and we put metrics out there. Well, now begins the chase where we'll have to show dashboards and say, kya kaam hua? So I think that part of our journey, we've invited on us. So I think, Sanjeev, without industry, we don't exist. I think it's a fabulous partnership. It's a great marriage in making, and we're going to have plenty of great fruits. I think that this partnership is going to churn. Would that make you happy, Sanjeev? Awesome. So I think that's a brilliant segue to, here is someone we spoke about brief, but let's have Sri Ram Kumar Narayanan join us, and Bharat, we're going to introduce. Thank you.
Let's keep it short. Thank you.
Well, yeah, go ahead. Let's have.
So Ram Kumar Narayan is VP Technology and Managing Director at VMware India, where he leads strategy and growth for VMware's largest global center outside of its headquarters in USA. This includes working closely with the company leadership on portfolio management, talent strategy, and positioning of VMware as leading organization in India.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ram. Thank you so much. And we spoke about, right, how you were knocking on the door and how you delivered, your team delivered fabulous stuff. And it's a continuing partnership. Talk to us a little bit about what industry is doing. And of course, in particular, then later, where VMware comes in. But I think we'd love for you to give us an industry perspective on employing more women.
Thank you, Supriya. Thank you, Sanjeev, for having me here. And happy Women's Day to all of you. And to the allies who are in the room. I want to speak out to the men here as well. Thank you for being here.
We are not allies.
No, you're in this particular situation, you're not. you're in one cohort, the allies are there to support. But as we move forward, congratulations on the 1 year. I was there at the launch, and it's, when you're close to it, you can be self-critical, which is good, and for the scorecard. But I think congratulations on the progress made. I mean, it's really wonderful to hear, the progress that you've made, not only within Bangalore, but beyond Bangalore, and the enthusiasm and the energy that seems to be growing. Thank you for kind of laying out all the work that Mr. Ashwin Gowda was talking about with KSDC. Wonderful to hear this. I think the energy all across, and I stand here not just as VMware, as a member of NASSCOM's Executive Council, I also represent the industry. And I think there is a lot of energy and enthusiasm from everybody to ensure that, we are building, not just a diverse, but an equitable and inclusive environment in every organization and as an ecosystem overall. So I think this platform plays a big role in helping move that needle forward considerably. Now, from our perspective, and I can speak about VMware a little bit, as a company, as with everybody else, part of our ESG goals is to be a company which is 50-50 by 2030. Now, that's easier said than done because we're a global organization with about 40,000 people. So moving the needle requires every one of us to step forward and do that. Now, in India, we have been growing and, being a predominantly software engineering organization. We took an approach which was slightly different. So we looked at all the aspects of what were going on. And internally, we have what we call power of difference communities that work to build communities around not just women. We have a very active women pod, but what we call pods, power of difference communities. But we look at all aspects of diversity as a whole. One of the areas that we looked at in 2019, we launched a program called VM Inclusion Tara, which was the MOU that we signed. And the goal of that was looking at initially, we said, can we help about 15,000 women reskill and come back to the workforce? And I love the way Professor Rajita kind of framed it. It's skills, it is jobs, and then there's also the confidence part. And I think our biggest learning was the third one, is we can do the first two because that's in our control. But the confidence part is what we really learned was the exercise. And I'm happy to report that since 2019, over 20,000 women had enrolled in our programs, and about over 5,000 have, at least that we know of, have come back to the workforce. But I think we couldn't have done it alone. And I think that's where the key was. Platforms such as, with KDEM and Women at Work, these are very important. But it is also the industry participation. Because at Tara, what we were doing was reskilling people on our technologies. But then at the end of the day, we are not the only ones who can absorb them. It's also our customers, our partners. And I think we were really, heartened by the fact that once we put it on the table, uniformly people signed up and said, hey, for us to good candidates. We called it Nakshatra, but really this was a deep 6-month program to help people come back. Right. So we've tried different things, but the other piece that we learned during this exercise was how do we build inclusivity as a mindset and not inclusivity for the sake of talking about it, right? And that required internal retraining and re-mindset shifting. We started off with managers, but we also found that the biggest influencer of a woman employee who felt included was their peer group. It wasn't so much the manager. The managers were actually good at doing this. They learned how to do it and they engaged. But the peer group is where a lot of things actually had to change, because a lot of times, women for whatever reasons, they may have other considerations to take care of, whether it's at home or not. But they were being judged by their peers saying, hey, this person's leaving early, this person's not available, this person can't join a call, or they may have other considerations. And we had to change that mindset among peer groups to say, look, it's not about that. It's really about, is the person, are they pulling their weight in terms of the outcomes that need to be focused on, not the hours spent. That was not the important part. And it uniformly found that the women were more productive and got the job done, and it probably had a higher level of quality, but they weren't necessarily hanging around the office. This is, of course, pre-COVID, but they weren't necessarily in the office or showing up at a after office party because they had other considerations. But that can't be a means, and we had to change that bias. And I think that was one of the biggest learnings that we had.
I'd love to applaud
we
for
talk
that
about
one. I think that's fabulous. Thank you so much, Ram. This is brilliant. It just gets better. Same question that I asked Professor Rajita, and I'm going to ask you the same, that it's taken us probably a century to get here, and it shouldn't take us another 100 years to get. So if we had to do something in the next quarter of a century, women, I think we're running out of patience, maybe 25 years, maybe shorter. I mean, I can say 2.5 years, but that wouldn't be fair to Ram. I think 25 years. So Ram, what is it that industry needs to do different? Like top 1, 2, 3 things that they can do different so that now we accelerate the momentum.
Yeah, one of the things that we saw, and I think Professor Rajita kind of referenced this, is about, she kind of framed it as the double whammy. One of the things we realized is that, when we go out, every company is looking to increase the diversity in their workforce. And I'll talk specifically about software engineering because that's the one, we hire most from. Industry-wise diversity in that category, and I'm talking about a blended number across, entry all the way to senior folks, both in the individual contributor ladder, which is top architects, etc., and managerial. That number is somewhere between 24 to 28%, industry-wide, right? Now, if everybody is looking to hire the same candidates, we are pretty much looking at the same pool of candidates. And we're looking to hire the same people. Everybody is going after the same pool of candidates. And the reason that is so is because we lose a lot. I mean, our hiring classes out of college are 50-50, if better. last couple of years, they've been, overweighted on the women's side. But most of them are out of the workforce, within 5 to 8 years in their careers. And then we talk about retraining and getting them back into the workforce. Now, one of the things we are starting to look at is, can we do something to help retain them in the workforce? Whether it is programs, whether it's creating communities that are supportive, having role models having coaches come in and work with them. And in some instances, we tried a few experiments of actually getting their families included into some things, right? One example I'll give you, we haven't seen the results of it yet, but in our NCG class, our new college grad classes, on the day they join, we actually include the entire family.
Wow.
We started doing this in the pre-COVID world.
Amazing.
Because we found that the parents anyway come to the office to drop their kids off, right, on their first day of work. So one day I was walking to the office and I saw this big crowd of people standing in the lobby. And they were just, they were looking lost, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I had kids in the same age group. So as a parent, I felt, it's not fair to them. So we said, okay, why don't we just bring them in? We gave them a cup of coffee, and I did a half-an-hour slot with them just to demystify the company. We are not a household name. We are not VMware is not necessarily some, I had a CISF person in Pune airport once asked me as I was wearing a t-shirt, whether we were in a clothing business, right? VMware. So we had to demystify the company even for the parent, but it was a huge hit. What started off as a half-an-hour interaction landed up being a half a day. So we actually not only gave them coffee, but gave them lunch as well. So during the COVID times, this actually became a norm. So we did this remote. It is extremely heartening. We had about 200 new college grads and, 200 families showing up in these small boxes, multi-generational. We would have small children sitting there. They were like, it's some entertainment going on. And then we had grandparents, the entire family was there. But the feedback that we received was actually people felt, they felt included, right? And like I said, I don't know if this will have an impact, but I'm hoping that maybe we can repeat this for, women in that age group, maybe do family days where they can come and bring their family along. Maybe we can talk to them, I think there's something we need to do differently. The point here is it's experimental and we need to try this out. But a lot of those influences that actually go into them, perhaps leaving the workforce, maybe we need to change that. And, figure out a way to kind of, demystify it for the rest of the family to say, hey, maybe there's something here that, maybe you should let them continue their careers along with the other support that comes. That's one aspect to it. And I'll be short, but the other thing that, we need to start thinking about is this aspect of, I think the hybrid work structure, while everybody's now anxious to say, hey, when will people come back to office? Maybe there is something in that we can take a look at and see, is that something that it may not be institutional. Every company's got its own, challenges and opportunities. But I think that could potentially help with helping people stay, right? And, in some cases, people move away because they got married and their spouse is in a different location and they may move. Maybe this will allow them to stay in the workforce and continue their, job and grow their career. So we'll have to experiment in that. Maybe this platform, Sanjeev and Supriya, maybe it's an opportunity to experiment on things out of the box.
We have you here. There's no short dearth of experimentation. I totally loved it. It was heartwarming. It was like, ooh, it was really, goosebumps. I think, thank you so much, Ram. This is fascinating. The takeaway is we need to do things differently. And I think what I also hear you saying, and tell me if I'm wrong, we're inviting women to our workplaces and we're saying, feel included. What you're doing is completely changing the game. It's like going to their workspace, home space, family space, and then saying, we'll include you. So I think you're going 5 steps back, which is actually probably going to take us 100 steps forward. Brilliant. Totally love that. We're very sure the experiment's going to work for you because I saw Anshuman take notes. So yeah, thank you so much, Ram. We are so, happy to have you part of the Executive Council and of course, constant guiding force. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's have a bigger round of applause. Thank you.
Check. Memento. We have a token of gratitude of memento to be given.
Yeah. Sanjeev, can we have you on stage, please? Yeah, we take a moment. We would love to have Anshuma. Since I saw you taking notes, we're going to get you here next. Anshuma.
Anshuma is a technology-driven and positive leader with 18 years of experience in site strategy, digital technology enablement, IT operations, leadership. In her current role, Anshuma is leading IT of Applied Materials India, having an overall responsibility of strategic partnership between IT and India business unit.
Thank you so much.
Anshuma, CIO Applied Materials, fascinating. And also very moved by what Ram was saying, right? You were like,
oh, fabulous.
Do you have a comment on that?
Yes. I definitely have one. I have comment both for Ashwin ji as well as for Dr. Ram. I am going to ape that. There was something that I noted down. I do believe that when you include the families, the emotional aspect of it is way too high. And that's what we should encash. And that's something which draws a lot of women to work as well. And to Ashwin ji's comment, he said, this is an open pitch for the industry people. I come from an industry which is nowadays much talked about, which is the semiconductor industry. And as Dr. Ram was saying, people don't know about VMware. People never knew about Applied Materials. Okay, whenever I told them Applied Materials, they did not ask me, is this a company? They asked, is this a subject? Well, we went, even one step further. I had to explain to them it's an organization and we work in semiconductor equipment manufacturing. And we have a big problem. The problem is that there is a huge growth in the industry, which is envisaged for the next 10 years. We're going from billions of dollars to $1 trillion industry. And we have about 2 million people with the skill set today. And in the next 10 years, we need 1 million more. So that's if you have a portal and you're developing skills, please include the semiconductor skills as well. There is a big requirement in that space. So that's something that I just wanted to shoot out. But yes, I'm open for some other questions as well.
Absolutely. There are others. So we got one more partner onboarded. Anshuma, now when we look at women, I'm going to now switch gears. We've spoken about entry level, we've spoken about mid. I'm going to completely take us now to a different level to say, when you look at women at the top leadership level, it's pyramid, and pyramid happens even for men. It's not that it's happening for women. But when they look at multiple career breaks, be it maternity, of course, marriage, and then elder care, what can we do to have more women elevate to a CXO role? And, what do you think we can do?
Yeah, very important question. I think, Supriya, and this is something that we've observed in the industry. I think lately I was just reading that, we had Sheryl Sandberg, who had stepped down. We had the CEO of YouTube, Susan, she stepped down. We even had the New Zealand president, a prime minister who was very famous, Jacinda. She stepped down. Everybody said that not enough in tank or cannot continue more. And why is it that women at the top are saying that? And there is a lot of, grassroots work which has to be done to first understand the problem and then suggest solutions which anyone has to do. And there are a lot of things we talk about. Women as the primary caregiver. We talk about, these career breaks which happen. But when it comes to workforce, a lot of women who are in senior positions have actually found out ways and means to support them during those times. But what really happens when they say there's not enough in the tank, there are a lot of microaggressions in the environment. You have to prove your worth double that anyone else would have to do that. And there are a lot of biases which play even at a higher level. A lot of women are also devoting their time in initiatives like diversity, in mentoring, in doing a lot of extra work. So all of this really accounts for them getting pulled back and saying that there's not enough left in the tank. So we really have to see what we have to do differently to help and support them. So I believe that there are, and I borrow that from Pankaj, he always has the 4C, 3C. So I have this 4C, which I feel the industry should be doing. The first is the commitment. It really has to start with commitment. It is not a tokenism. We really have to do something. We have to measure ourselves. We have to hold ourselves accountable. We have to put in our objectives that this is what we want to do for the women in leadership. That's the first piece. The second one is culture. I think culture eats strategy for breakfast. So we all have to look at how the culture is there. Are these biases being addressed? Are these microaggressions being addressed? And are we developing a culture of equity? We are not questioning on the time, but we're really questioning on the impact. The third one is career. And this is really where, we've spoken a lot about training, but really training women for those senior leadership roles, because all the other domain and other general skills that they will acquire. Then also giving them the right mentors, but more than mentors, I think at the higher position, it's the sponsors. So you really need those sponsors to put you in those spots and give you those opportunities. The third I feel is very important, which is the network. Because as I think Dr. Ram was saying, women do not hang after work. They really don't develop these networks. And we really have to tap networks like these, networks like the one you run, where we get to learn from each other and we understand that this is a journey. We're in that journey, and we share our challenges, we share our joys, and it gives a lot of confidence and support to go forward. So I think that is there. And one very important aspect which we also do in our organization is looking at equity, actually sitting down and seeing, are we biased in our promotions? Are we biased in the way we are paying women? So we actually sit down and look at that. How many women got promoted? How many were even nominated for awards? How many of them are moved to senior leadership roles? So you actually have to sit down and do the groundwork. It cannot be up in the air, and you have to build those things. And that's, the career piece. And finally, it's all about collaboration. That's what we want from the environment. And when that gets in, I think the women at the leadership really stay on. Otherwise, it's easy to fizzle down.
Wow. A lot of questions got answered. Thank you so much. Thank you. Fascinating. Anshuma, you did prepare for the because I'm looking at now what else can I ask you? And I don't think so. We have a framework, and I think Bharat, you're taking mental notes, right? Because so am I. Fascinating. Sanjeev's scorecard is going to look even more different. Thank you so much, Anshuma. God bless you, and thank you for your presence here.
Bye. Thank you.
You mentioned Pankaj. I think all of you are very. It's amazing how this is flowing. Thank you. The segue is now to Pankaj. Pankaj Rai, can we have you on stage, please? We're going to talk to you about your framework.
Pankaj Rai is now Aditya Birla Group's Chief Data Analytics Officer, has a professional experience of more than 25 years in strategy, consulting, and financial services. Pankaj was formerly a Senior Vice President at Wells Fargo, Head of Analytics at Dell, and Head of PMO at Standard Chartered Bank.
Thank you. And Pankaj is also my industry mentor. So he's taking me to places which I never thought I will. And, the force behind the Women Network. So yeah, Pankaj, so lovely to have you here. Thank you for your time. When we are talking about women, and I remember we were on the Executive Council call and you said, whatever we do, it's a digital economy, yes, and that's our mission, but you made a very compelling argument about women in manufacturing. So talk to us a little bit more about that, to say, what is the opportunity and what's the gap and what can we do more in that area?
Sure. Thank you for inviting me. And first of all, many times I am asked that, what is your credential of, being in a women forum, and, what do you know about women? So I'll tell you the answer that I have given people that, when I was born, we were two brothers. So in our family, there was my mom and the rest of her, 25% gender diversity in our family. Now at my home, I have two daughters, a few maids, and my wife. And depending on the weightage that you give, I'm in a minority. So I have seen the evolution of a majority to a minority, and that is my credential of being there. Now, having worked in, in some senses, I tell people that I followed the trend. So I started working in banking. Banking was the rage in those days back in 93 when I graduated. And then tech came along and somehow I went there. My suspicion is that the future belongs to manufacturing, and I happen to be here. I don't think I have done any of those things. I'm just retrofitting the curve in data that already exists. So I just joined the Aditya Birla Group a year and a half ago. First 6 months went when you couldn't see anyone. So I'm pretty much just 1 year old in this world of manufacturing. It's a large group. Many of you have heard names. Most people know about Aditya Birla Fashion, which is the consumer fashion retail group. There's Aditya Birla Capital, but there's a bunch of things behind, which is Hindalco, which is an aluminum company. Then we have Pulp and Fiber, Rayon, Carbon, Ultratech Cement, and several other new businesses being launched, paints, jewelry, some other digital business. So it's a big conglomerate. So the big stark difference that I see in this group is it's highly manufacturing focused. So all the discussion that I ever had in Dell or Wells Fargo and Stanchart somehow are very different here, because you have to have the plant at the heart of every discussion. And I only grew up in a plant long ago. My dad used to work in a fertilizer company, so I grew up in a plant in Gorakhpur, but then I forgot all about plants. I did visit a few plants in my ICICI days to give them money. Most of them didn't return it, so that's the reason I left banking and went on to technology next. But now I'm going to plants. It's a very different world out there. I mean, the topics related to women are very different. There's so many different things. So I'm still learning. So right now, I don't have a prescription for anything. I'm hardly an expert in the world of manufacturing, but I do think that as I think we become a 30 trillion economy from 3, whenever that happens, the 27 trillion, I think a huge segment has to be manufacturing. It can't be just services. And I don't know how it will come, but therefore I'm devoting a lot more time and attention to thinking about the world of manufacturing, and therefore thinking about tier 3, tier 4 remote towns, because that's where this all will happen. So
Awesome.
I'm trying to move away my thought process from these large towns that I have lived in, Delhi, Bangalore, so on.
Awesome. Thanks, Pankaj, for that. And you're definitely, hitting quite a few nerves here. Brilliant. Talking about the question that comes to mind is, when we are talking about men as allies, this is something that the corporate is really investing in. And I've seen you in my personal capacity and professional that you're an amazing ally to so many women out there, and you're helping them connect the dots. You're the Steve Jobs of the women's network. So talk to us about, simplify the men as allies for us to say, what can women look for, get their support, or how can men be more woke and support this in the corporate world?
Yeah. In fact, most of the women I meet, I tell them that, in general, they always say that men at home listen to women. So I said, already that they are listening to you. Why do you change track when you come to office? All these guys are waiting to listen to you, but you got to, at least tell them what to do. So that's more jokingly. I think the challenge is usually that the women are in a minority, and in many places they have just come for the first time. So I just think that they came late. So I think it's just a matter of them remembering that they just came late. Many things have come late, but that doesn't mean that they have to take as long to get there. Just like we are a developing country trying to become a developed country, we won't take 50 years or 100 years that other took. We'll get there in 10 or 15. So I think in this digital age, everything has to happen faster. So first of all, it is that last C, which is the confidence, which has to come. And the confidence has to come from a place that we are growing greatly as a economy, as a country, and especially you're in India. This is the place where everyone seems to agree that the next 25 years seems to belong to India from a global growth perspective. How will that come from if the women don't play a role? So I would say it's actually the responsibility of the women to pick this up, to say, this can't happen without you. And if you don't believe it's your responsibility, we'll be left behind. So I will flip it the other way around to say, why are you waiting to be invited? You should say, I got to make it happen. I got to make a contribution. I have to be there and I want to contribute. So I'm kind of always flipping the question the other way around to say, it's you. You have to drive it.
Awesome. Yeah. Did you just turn the tables back on us, Sanjeev, to say we need to do more? Lovely. Is there anything, women, of course, yes, but parting note, my last question, anything corporate can do more of to support women at work, both at entry level and also retention, so that the pipeline doesn't leak as much as it does today?
Yeah, I think a lot is being said about that outcome metric of 50-50. I'm not a big believer on outcomes. When you give sales goals, people do all kinds of wrong things, right? They get the numbers, but in the wrong way. I think we have to work on the basics. We have to go 2 or 3 or 4 levels behind. And I see a lot of good ideas here. I really love Ram's idea saying we are all a family. Every company says we are a family, but how many do actually make it happen? Absolutely. So I think there are lots of good ideas. I think if we can just bring people together, if this idea can go to everyone, I'm sure there are 50 ideas here, which we don't know of. I just think, I used to be, GE and Jack Welch used to say copy shamelessly. I think if we just copied shamelessly what others are doing, I think we are there. We don't need to invent new ideas. I think we are all trying to invent some new ideas. I think all the ideas are there in some microcosm. We just need to connect it. KDEM is a great firm. I'm sure there are WhatsApp groups on which we have these things. I think we can just learn from each other. I don't think we have to push ourselves to think of new ideas.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pankaj. And I think our idea list is going to emerge now. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Well, he's passed the baton to women, and we have our CHO Shalini Natraj joining us.
Shalini Natraj is the Global Head of Employee Experience and HR Delivery at Merckx. With over 20 plus years of experience across various multinational companies, her current roles and responsibilities includes leading employee experience and HR delivery for all Merck employees across the globe.
Shalini, thank you so much. And thank you so much for the wonderful introductions. Thank you. Shalini, thank you so much for joining us. Question is very clear. when we look at CHROs, when we look at head of HR, diversity, inclusion, culture, ecosystem, promotion, growth, everything is invested. Men at work, retain them engaged.
Great. Thanks, Supriya. And thank you for having me here. Let me just paint a picture of the company I come from. Pankaj and everybody spoke about it. So it's Maersk. Sometimes people think I work for Merck, as in the car, and sometimes it's something else. So then it's actually logistics and transportation. This is an industry. When I was interviewing Supriya, somebody said, why do you want to work for a masculine company? And the problem starts there, that there's so much branding of industries, of companies, and then roles that people actually think I'm doing something wrong by working for a company that's masculine. Why would I want to do that in HR and things like that, right? Which then trickles into the culture, into your thoughts and stuff like that. I actually think it's a bad thing for all of you, because when you think about Maersk, we think about ugly, big buildings, big ships, big cranes, and all of that is associated with men. I don't think it's fair. It actually is a really, really interesting, pretty place to work in. But let me talk about CHROs itself, or the role of HR in some of these things. And Supriya, it starts with the culture. And to Pankaj, your point about hiring women. Yes, there's a target. We believe in all of it. I have many, many leaders who are so proud about the number of women they're hiring. Go deeper into the data. How many of them are actually staying, are being successful, and are inspired to actually continue to grow? I think the number dwindles. So the biggest thing that we need to do, I need to do as a leader, is to not just look at, are we inviting the right kind of people into the company, but are we creating the culture to actually have them be included and then be successful? You know, one of the funny things that I hear a lot in interviews is, let's hire him or her because they're different. And the same difference becomes an issue after. And then we say, they're too different. I don't think they'll fit in. Maybe we should let them go. And that has to change. So the biggest thing we can do is invite them into the rooms, into the conversation, ensure that we understand who they are and what they bring to the table, ensure that we have a culture that accepts them, and then celebrate them. I think that's what we need to do.
Outstanding. What can women do different?
Yeah.
What can women do differently to be included? Like Pankaj said, well, I'm just going to spin it and you guys do it. And I'm sure women are doing it, which is why we have such great women power which is very different this decade than it was last year, right? Last decade. So what is your message to them?
Yeah, and I'll go vulnerable and personal for this. I'm single. I have been for a while. And most times people say, oh, you don't have kids at home, so then you can do X. Or you don't have kids at home, so you can work late. And that's why you are so good in your career, because you didn't have to deal with that. And many times I felt bad about it. Many times I changed how I came across. Many times I apologized for some conscious decisions I've made in life for where I've reached. So the first thing I think women can do is be proud of any decisions you have made and not be apologetic.
Outstanding.
And I see this in interviews. Maybe, you know, lots of women have taken breaks for having babies, and they come into an interview, and instead of being proud about it and then saying, hey, here are the 4 things that I learned while taking care of my baby, that I think I'm going to be amazing when it comes to multitasking, when it comes to irritating people and having patience around them, and many, many other things. But I don't think the storytelling is
but yet sometimes gatekeeper and sometimes a roadblock. What would your message be to multiple HR people out there to say, well, let's do this differently?
Yeah, I think my message is more for the business and non-HR people. Sometimes when you think about attrition, when you think about engagement, they all think it's HR's job to make that happen, including experience. I really think it's everybody else. We spoke about family, we spoke about peer group, and I can maybe give you an example. So I come from an industry where it is hard for women to come in, also because while influencing corporates and academy, we have to influence families because I'm talking about seafarers. When you think about big vessels, there are about 30 people, let's assume in every vessel, 99.9% of the times it's full men. And then we started doing something where then we had women in it, but 35 people, one woman. And so then the families, including the women, are like, okay, am I safe? Is this the right thing? I'm away from home 3 weeks, 6 weeks. And so what we have started doing, it's the same in warehouses. We have lots of warehouses, really, really hard work to do. So women don't want to be a part of it. So what HR has done is influence business to think about it differently. We've started Equal at Sea as a program with business, which means by 2027, every vessel that Maersk is using will have 50% women on that vessel.
Wow.
Which then means that we are skilling them, obviously, but they have company on the vessel, right? And you have camaraderie, your friendship, people who understand you. And we actually just 2 months ago opened a warehouse that is all women warehouse in a village in Uttar Pradesh. And this also started with skilling, but this wasn't HR sitting and doing it. This is actually us telling business, hey, do you want to do something interesting? And in weeks, they came up with the idea. We just had to facilitate it and then just inspire the right conversation. So I really believe it's a team effort, and I believe HR can hold the light, but I do think it's the team that does everything.
Thank you so much, Shalini. Absolutely fabulous. And we have so many takeaways. Thank you for your time. And I'm so glad,
Thank you for
you joined us today. Thank you so much. Wow. It's just getting better and better and fascinating. And I think, wow. I'm charged. Sanjeev, I would love to have you on stage. I think this is magic happening here. You can't be there. We have a next speaker, Iqbal. Yes, Iqbal.
Iqbal Kaur has 25 plus years of experience as AI leader and entrepreneur. She has rich experience of setting up and scaling in-house data science capabilities at multi-billion-dollar companies like Target and Lowe's. Most recently, as the co-founder of Xylotech, Iqbal led the development of Xylotech's customer data platform.
Thank you. Welcome, Iqbal.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
And these are the notes I took right now because I'll be mentioning certain people. I need data. I can't do anything without it. So pardon my hand movement along with the notebook.
So Iqbal and I have a little anecdote. When she and I get into our sometimes weekend conversations, we do this Wordle together and Wordle, Dodle and all that. I think it's a fascinating word. We do that. And then she would say, and I'm like, switch off, do something else. And Iqbal is like, I'm counting the steps. So I can tell you how many steps I took there, how many breaths I took. She's like constant. So I think here's a person who breathes data and she thinks that's meditation for her and that's not stress. So that is a complete, blows me apart. Iqbal, we spoke about, great examples were there from our leaders from multiple clusters joining in, and they were talking about AI. They were talking about how the percentages were so low in the number of men that are there in it, and how I would say that's a huge opportunity. So talk to us a little bit about women in emerging tech, and I know your core is AI, ML. What is the world, how can women kind of maximize that opportunity?
So I think I'll start with talking about, I think you were referring to those studies and I went and looked for it. So there are some studies that talk that women would be disproportionately affected, negatively impacted by this AI and, new emerging tech. And, this is going to be true for everybody that does a routine task of data entry or customer service. But there is also a fact that women have high representation in such jobs. So yes, there is a lot of truth to it. But we are forgetting the fact that the emerging technologies are creating new jobs, machine learning, data sciences, AI development, right? These are the jobs that is where we should be looking for. And you talked about, so Chetna talked about 22% of, women are AI experts, at least in the areas she has looked at, and only 9% of them, of 9% women or 9% of specialists are women. I was pretty surprised to hear this number. Why? Because if you look at the stats at the India level, World Bank says that 43% of STEM graduates in India are women. And that is one of the highest in the world, right? We are talking about, so Shri Ashwinji was talking about the skilling initiatives. And I think Chetna was the one who talked about that women are better, no, not Chetna, Vidya talked about that how women are better at coding and we are better at so many things. So it is very surprising that our numbers are so low in these fields. But there's still some hope because there's a report from Accenture. So consider the 43% of graduates are women in STEM. And then there were some numbers by Dr. Rajita, which were also very promising in her program, that from in between, I think if you take out the postdoctorate, doctorate, she talked about that later on, the numbers were getting even better, back to 50%. So you have great numbers at education. And then you have, more women moving into AI, still a dismal number at 22%. But organizations are now enabling, everything with technology, right? Things that we used to do with paper and Excel is now getting automated. So I believe that women are poised to really use AI and emerging tech as a route to get into leadership roles. And why women? I want to talk about that too. Sure. We always think, or rather we should keep in mind, AI is not just about maths and statistics, right? When you think about analytics, you think, oh, I need to know maths, I need to know statistics. No, I know that math and stats were historically domain of men. No, not true, that either. But women have a better ability to connect from the right brain and the left brain. So we are better equipped to think of ideas and solutions, and at the same time, analyze them with the data. I'm a living example of that. But now, there are ample organizations, and every viable organization is looking for this kind of talent. The person who can think with data at the same time has emotional intelligence in this age of automation. Because without emotional intelligence, and I like her word, Chetna said, AI has to be responsible. AI will not be responsible.
Awesome. You make a compelling argument, Iqbal, to say that we've read so many case studies that if human are biased, and we all are in some form of the other, but you just kind of gave a segue to the next question, that we need to have a lot more experiments done with women, in the room. We need to have a lot more women join AI. Otherwise, we're going to probably bias the entire algorithm. So can you talk to us a little bit about our responsible AI and how women need to play their role and probably join this emerging field?
Yeah, so this is something I first heard around 10 years ago, and it was honestly not on my radar. And that is because I have been fortunate in many ways, because probably I do what Pankaj said, you have to be responsible for your career, right? So I never felt 10 years ago, and it talked about how AI algorithms are getting biased. Not just the data. Yes, if you look at, and, pardon me, the HR folks in the room, but if you look at your hiring and promotion data, it's heavily gender biased against women, right? Now you use that for AI models, your models are going to perpetuate that bias. But it's not just the data, it's the way we think, it's the variables we choose, it's how we are seeding those algorithms when we're running them for 2 days, 3 days, or a month. If all the AI algorithm builders are going to be men, that will be just one way of thinking. And I have found that. So we were a small product team with primarily 2 people, a PhD in math, a woman PhD in math, and a guy who was equally qualified. And we were solving very difficult problems. So they would be working on same problem, sometimes together and sometimes separately because they wouldn't agree on the approach. And it was very interesting to see that 9 out of 10 times, the solution that I got from my male product team member was something that was there. He had researched it and found it. But the solution I got from the woman team member was something very new, something we, of course, had to research more and apply more and needed more work. But that was something we were able to use and make our product more scalable, which is very important for a product. So I would say that it is how we build those algorithms, not just the biased data behind it, that will change with more women in AI.
Awesome. So what's your message to women in AI, women in emerging tech, to say that should they get into it like now?
But definitely. Why wait? I know that, Shalini talked about women at sea and women warehouse. So more women jobs getting created there too. So yes, emerging tech may impact the routine task, but there are new jobs coming. I think that we need to get into this field and ensure more than 50% representation. And there's a message to organizations and policymakers. There are pitfalls, as we talked about, that AI can be biased. And there are a few other things, I think microaggression you talked about. So I think those are the things we have to watch out for and fix those things so that, we don't have negative consequences forward.
Thank you so much, Iqbal. Thank you. We have a to-do list again coming from you. Thank you so much. Fascinating. We have a few more guests and then we are pacing up. Swati, we look forward to having Swati Kulkarni with us.
Swati Kulkarni is co-founder and CEO at Elda Health, a women's healthcare platform tailored for midlife urban women. She has extensive experience of about 17 years in building companies across tech and consumer brands. Swati is an alumni of Indian School of Business and Birla Institute of Technology.
Swati, thank you so much.
Thank you, Supriya. I'm as woman as can be. Of course, I'm a woman, but I also interact with only women, if I may, and men when they don't listen to the women in their families. One thing I wanted to start off with is we've typically seen people come and speak about how they've seen very little representation of women in the companies that they lead. But I've had an absolutely different experience. This that I am biased towards women because as an entrepreneur, I can tell you that every business is personal. When we get customers, when you work with clients, you build a rapport with the person, the very first time you meet their eye. And as women, I've noticed, and again, I'm biased, that they're able to build that connect that goes beyond just those X number of dollars, that contribution margin. The conversation becomes very personal. So yes.
Awesome. That was a fabulous introduction. My question again, and I think you've answered part of it, is how can we get more women, promote more women in entrepreneurship?
So I would like to start with a few stats. I'm sure most of you know, but only 18% women co-founded startups exist in India, which means that it's not just 18% all women. Let's look at it as 82% startups in India are just men. This is unfair because 50% and more consumers are women. So when we have 50% consumers women, I'm sorry, but only men building, businesses, product services for women. But I think what's more interesting is that even amongst that 18%, the funded companies were women. And I'd like to tell you a little bit, Supriya, about how difficult it is to be a woman founder. It is very difficult. Every night when I sleep, I worry a lot. Of course, I generally worry, but it's not an easy journey. So for all the women entrepreneurs here and all the men, who want to support their women entrepreneurs, it's not easy because I'll give you a personal example. Sharing yours. I am the opposite. I am the mother of 2 kids. When I went to ISB, my son was 2.5 years old. And, I can't tell you one person in my family or my friends network who came and said, you're so lucky your husband supported you, to do your ISB. But I supported him to do 4 years of his PhD thereafter. Nobody, including my family, came and told me, you're such a great wife, you supported your husband. So I think there is a bias either ways. And today, when we speak to midlife women that, Elda Health does, I would like to speak about what Professor Rajita told about, the double whammy. We look at the age group of double whammy. So while skills, jobs help women, confidence is not necessarily built by skills. also, I won't say all women, my co-founder is a male, but a number of women in the tech team, right? So when we look at any sort of technology that enables people, especially women, discretion is a big deal for us. So discretion both in terms of rendering the service to us, as well as when we're looking at some of this data. And Pankaj and Iqbal, you've been in the data science AI space a lot, and you also sort of spoke about how emotions are really important in technology. So I would actually bring it to that. I'm an engineer myself, but when I just look at numbers, I'm unable to run a health tech company. When I'm able to look at numbers colored through the lens of empathy, and again, because I'm biased that women are more empathetic, I would say that the patterns just emerge, and I'm able to see what really comes. So I would say that women in deep tech, in health tech, are a very big addition to this world, where majority of the folks who are building this are male. So that angle of empathy, that angle of looking at beyond data really helps.
Thank you so much, Swati. Thank you so much for your presence. We wish Elda Health all the best. And I
Thank
think
you.
we have massive learnings to take. Thank you. We have a final speaker of the day, Kalpana Sindhu.
Kalpana.
Thank you so much, Kalpana, for your presence. What a beautiful segue, right? Here is someone sitting with a pot of money. I can see dollars, euros, INR, all kind of flowing out of it. And yet there is a woman entrepreneur in health tech who said, God damn, show me the money. The female version of Jerry Maguire. Show me the money. So Kalpana, why is it that, we are so biased in, and I've read, I've done paper in entrepreneurial paper in women entrepreneurship, and it said we are seen as risky by credit lenders. We are seen as very risky. I mean, wow, I thought women were safe, and now when it comes to giving us money, we are suddenly risky. So tell us a little bit more about from the funding world.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, thanks, Supriya, for inviting me. This has been a very, very enriching experience for me listening to all these wonderful speakers. Okay, so look, I wouldn't say, so let's put some facts, right? And I wouldn't talk percentages and all that. Qualitatively, women are fewer everywhere, right? So fewer in the venture capital fund, fewer in whatever. I think in schools only we see more female teachers. I think that's the only area. And that's where I think when you're fewer and when you're in minority, you don't have the relevant network to support you, right? And we've heard of things like it takes a village to raise a child. I very firmly believe that it requires a village to raise a startup as well. And when I say that, we can always blame the VC people of finding you risky. We can always blame saying that, oh, they have a bias against women, but they believe me, it's not that way, right? Of course, there will be biases. So there will be some male guy sitting somewhere saying that, oh, why should I talk to a woman? Happens. I'm not denying that. But what we have to kind of consider is what do VC people want? They want returns, right? They want a business which is scalable, which can actually grow big, which is profitable, right? And which is sustainable. That's all the VC guy wants, guy or girl, sorry. And then it doesn't really matter whether the person who's presenting the pitch deck is a female or a male, right? So I think coming back to what Swati mentioned, it's more of a storytelling, right? Sometimes maybe the women are not great storytellers. Maybe they don't have enough conviction or confidence in themselves or the ideas. It's not always that, VC person has a bias and that's why they're not giving the funding. We ourselves, one crowd, this is our second fund. So the first fund, we've already invested in some 30 plus companies, out of which 6, 7 are like Fresher, Ghost Talks, ProVeeves. I can mention many more names are woman-led and they're fabulous startups, right? But did we give them funding because they were woman-led? No, not at all, right? It's just coincidental that some of our startups are woman-led. So coming back to the point, I think as long as you have a robust business plan, you can scale it up. If the VC person sees that you have it in you to take it to the next level, because VC person just wants returns. They want to exit at 10 times multiple, 30 times multiple, they'll be happy to invest. So my only request is I think we just have to kind of look into ourselves and just make ourselves VC ready. And for that, you need to talk to different people, make to different mentors, figure out how to tell your story, and just show the conviction that you have it in you to take your startup to much higher levels than what at the VC is coming at.
रुकावट के लिए खेद है. Sorry for the interruption. Kalpana, one final question, and you did almost answer that. But when your people are pitching to you and you have a fund, obviously, that you're a partner and a part of, have you seen any differences between, when the women are pitching and the men are pitching? And therefore, we are not looking at difference. We are just saying, how would that translate? What advice would you give to women who are probably sitting here and saying, okay, I'm just starting my fund or I'm starting my venture and I need money? Few things you'll tell us to equip better so that we are VC ready.
Yeah, so I guess, again, one should never generalize because they're all kind of people, right? And all women are different, all men are different. But from whatever I have seen from the various pitches, I guess women tend to get a little emotional with their ideas, which is true. Like any entrepreneur gets very emotionally attached to it. Sometimes then you lose track of, because everybody needs hard facts, right? And I'll agree with what Iqbal said. You need to be able to justify the market opportunity. You should be able to justify your ability to kind of scale it up to the level which people want it to be taken. You should be able to justify the valuation which you want, which are very, very, very number-driven things, right? You really can't say that, that just an example that all the women are suffering from PCOS, and that's why the market is so large, and that's why I want to do something about it. So that one thing, I think what I would suggest is, for a moment when you're pitching, forget that you're a man or a woman, right? Just park it aside. Don't even think whether somebody is having a bias in favor of you or bias against you. Forget it, right? People want to make money out of your business. As long as you're able to pitch to them that you're the right horse to bet on, you will definitely get the dollars. And again, as what she said, there is always a co-founder, right? And if the co-founder is a man, sometimes we do feel man doing. So I was recently evaluating a bakery business thing where the brain and the actually baker is the lady, but the husband was doing the talking, right? So I think, and it holds true for all co-founders, right? I mean, if you're an equal co-founder, just ensure that your presence is felt and your value is visible to the VC fund. But again, just have conviction in your belief, right? Just be very, very ambitious. Forget for a moment you're a woman or whatever. As long as you talk as a powerhouse, right? I mean, something which you really are passionate about, people will bet on you, right? So don't get too much. I haven't seen, I mean, in this thing, I haven't seen biases happening, but I'm sure there must be. But because if biases are happening in corporate world, I'm sure it must be happening in the VC world also. But somehow I have not seen, right?
Lovely.
I've always seen, on the contrary, people trying to help out. Like in an individual capacity, I work as a mentor and advisor. So even if as one crowd we reject a deal because it's not ready for us, I will always reach out to the lady and say, look, I think you need a little bit of mentoring and I'm happy to mentor till you are VC ready. So there will be people who will help you out, but they should need to see some substance in you. They wouldn't just help you because you're a woman, right? I mean, so I think we just have to keep that aside, and just it's in any space, right? You have to kind of play on an equal playing field. Sometimes it's a little bit of a, it's not an equal playing ground because there are just too many men out there. But people are always looking to make money. And as long as you can justify your business model, people will put in.
Thank you, Kalpana. You simplified it. I think it's brilliant. Thank you for your time. Show them the money and then you'll have their money with you. I think that's fabulous, irrespective of gender. So women go get it. Inviting Sanjeev back to the stage and lighting it up with his charisma.
Supriya, first of all, a water for you. You need this, right?
Thank you
Hey,
so
thank you
much.
for doing this exercise, and bringing the carpet. I am thrilled, but sometimes the comments for the men were not so thrilled. But I really loved it, the session that you did and the speakers who came forward. I'm pretty confident that industry is excited, industry is partnering it, industry is co-owning it. And absolutely, so hats off to you for bringing all these great people together.
Thank you so much, Sanjeev. And over to you now. Thank you so much. And thank you, all the great speakers.
Okay, I would take an opportunity to talk about that what KDEM is doing here. Why we are into this initiative and etc. One of the important elements of the government of Karnataka is that we have a digital economy 40% plus as a contributor to the state GDP. Okay. If it is so, what it includes as a digital economy, all the tech field, the IT, ITS, GCC, BPM companies. It includes all the electronic system design, manufacturing, and applied materials is very well known to me. Absolutely, yes. And they are one of the pioneers in terms of setting up their operations in Karnataka. So great proud feeling for all of us. Having said this, the other area is startup in technology field. These three combined, we are targeting a $300 billion plus of contribution to $1 trillion of Honorable Prime Minister's vision by one and only state called Karnataka. And that is, we are looking for it. If we design this in terms of the strategy for us, yes, we need industry to look and guide us. That's the one important pillar. The second important pillar is talent. And when we look at the talent side, we say, okay, fine, what we need to do? We need to design a strategy which can go for creating an ecosystem of a talent, which is not for today, but also defined for tomorrow. And the tomorrow cannot be defined if we do not touch the topic of women at work. And that's the reason KDEM is here paying an attention equivalent. And when I say KDEM, please treat this as entire government of Karnataka looking at, entire industry looking at and saying, let's focus on women at work. Let's look at the issues there. Let's address some of the things that can control by us as an enabler. And everything can be worked on a co-partnership basis. So what is a woman at work who's new here today? Just want to take 1 minute more, is to say, can we design new initiatives of women at work? Or shall we just amplify the efforts of great work that VMware are doing or other folks are doing? How do we amplify? And take this amplifying efforts to the larger community in our emerging tech clusters like Mysore, Mangalore, and Hubli, and the women community at large to create this magic and say, come on, we are there with you. And this journey, just do an exercise of a partnership model, rather than we design something very differently and the corporates are doing something differently, and then we don't converge at all. And finally, we say 100 years behind. So what we did is, let's bring the corporates, let's use their methodology, amplify these efforts. For example, today, if Masek is talking about of every container will have 50% female population, I will amplify this effort. I'll take their programs, what they're doing, how they're attracting, what is that new skill program they're taking up. Can I reach this message to the larger community at large? And we as a body are best to do that. And if we can do this exercise, how we can do this? We have our academic institutions, 80 plus in these 3 locations only, which are partnered with us. We have local industry leaders, which you saw on the screen. They passionately stand up and say, let me take this message up forward and own it. So you got brand ambassadors of your, without any, new designs of yours. You get everybody available with you who can take your message to the larger community. And if you also find out that there's a skill gap, sorry, Sanjeev, I can't hire her, then my colleague, Mr. Ashwinji, is saying, don't worry, I am there. I'm going to fill up this gap quickly for you. So if we bring this whole study, that is where the KDEM is coming in place. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud of this initiative. I want you all to partner with us more and more and take the KDEM story and the government of Karnataka story forward. Now, 2 more statistics. 100 plus unicorns has been born. We can say how many all men and all men's. Friends, there are 10 unicorns which are led by women. I know it's 10%, but we are 10 unicorns led by women. The day is not far when this 10% will increase to 25%, and we find more unicorns born. I don't know whether you know a fact or not, that the last Olympics which happened is a very different Olympic which happened in history. Every country, 206 countries which participated, there was a woman sports person participating in the Olympics. Every country. And even if there are 2 athletes or 2 persons participating, at least one was woman. Very sound and very positive signal across the globe. Department of Science and Technology in Government of India has 38% scientists as women. These are the statistics which I want you to go and read more, because I want to see positive. I want to feel positive. I want to give a positive energy that this 100 years journey, what has happened past, is not going to be there. It's going to be speeder, much faster than we can think about it. And then comes the last is the Karnataka as an hub. Well, Bangalore has been positioned across the globe as one important. And in fact, many of my other colleagues in the corporate must have seen it. I was just roaming on the streets of SFO, and what I found out is a pillar showing milestones, itne kilometer yahan wahan jaane ka rasta. One was Bangalore, so much kilometers from there. And I said, wow, this feels me, I feel proud. We are on every corner of the world, right? Talent is everywhere in the corner of the world. And be proud of Karnataka's, because we give this talent from ourselves. And it has been done for the last 4 decades. Why Fortune 400 R&D companies are here in Karnataka is just because of the talent. And that talent is given for the last 3.5 decades or 4 decades, continuously supplied quality talent, efforts by the organizations like KSDC and the higher education department, putting the rigorous efforts into this. That's the talent story. And in this talent story, now the women will take a lead. And I want, again, a submission, a strong partnership with industry to drive this. So friends, please do help me us. Please do connect with us. Our Karnataka Skill Connect portal, that Ashwanji was talking about, and I want him to be on stage with me right now, if you can. Karnataka Skill Connect portal is where I want corporates to be partnered with us. Let them join us. I want the corporates to also say, if they want to bring their own LMS as a programs, we will give you a platform of an API based where your LMS can be plugged in, and the entire student community. Today, we have approximately around 70,000 plus candidates, Ashwinji, and we are every day counting number going up and up. So we've only coaching across, let's say 100,000, Priyanka, we will be reaching much higher numbers as the targets looks like. So we will be crossing 100,000 numbers. All the 100,000 numbers can look into your curriculum, can look into your studies or programs that you're learning into. How can we make it happen? We can amplify your efforts, right? So we want to give you this platform of Karnataka Skill Connect portal. Then you can also become some of your professionals, leaderships can become mentors, counselors, right? All these are available on the different modules. In one way, you can also bring your own job openings onto the portal as well. And we give you these qualified candidates. As Ashwinji is talking about, of 30 students hired immediately by the company he came to know yesterday. I am standing in along with him, requesting all of you to please pay your time on Karnataka Skill Connect portal.
Yes,
and
please.
Any query you find, you have both us numbers, Supriya's numbers, and I will give you 2 more. Priyanka, you can stand up once again here, and Bharat. They both are the solid pillars of the Karnataka Skill Connect portal. Reach out to them any point of time, 24/7, WhatsApp message. They will be there for you to make you understand. This is what Government of Karnataka is requesting you to please partner with us. Right, sir? Right, ma'am? Thank you.
Actually, Priyanka was there. Priyanka was the VP of delivery before joining KSDC, and now currently she is heading the Skill Connect portal segment of KSDC. So please be in touch with her. And she has ample, she also brings her ample amount of expertise from the corporate sector too. So she'll be able to connect to you.
Thank you, Ashwinji. Thank you. Yes. You've been with us here only for a while.
Yes.
Supriya, can I request you on the dais now? So when we talk about a new initiative called as Executive Council, can you describe what is Executive Council is, who are the members, and what is the charter looks like.
Sure. So charter, what we have, thanks, Sanjeev. Charter, what we have is that we're going to get 5 lakh women in the job. We are definitely going to have more women enter the workforce. We're going to have women retained in the workforce. I think that's very well described. And of course, we're going to partner with KSTC. We have very clear understanding. All the men are yours, all the women are ours. So that's the understanding. So when they say 65% is women, we just know we are doing extremely well. Thank you so much. Our executive council members, of course, Shri Ram Kumar Narayan.
Mr. Ram, you can join us
Yeah,
here.
please join us. Rajita has left us, but there are the members that you see. Of course, we have Shri Ashwinji here joining us. Dr. Ragpriya couldn't join, but you see the name here. And Shri Pushpalata, she's the CASCAN. She's there with us. Of course, Sanjeev, you're there. I'm here. We got Pankaj Rai. We are calling you Shri Pankaj Rai. Kripa aaye. So we have Pankaj joining us.
I will take a 1 minute about talk about Sri later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our panel. We also have a new addition as of a few weeks back, Mr. Sunil Deshpande. It was a little last minute. He couldn't join us, but of course we have them. Are we playing cricket now? We are on the 2 sides of the match, right?
Join us together.
We're going to win, right?
No problem.
Awesome.
No, it's okay. So I think the idea why I was asking you, Supriya, is because this executive council is going to take a charge like a board of a company called Women at Work.
Absolutely.
Right? So Pankaj, are you ready to take a responsibility of 500,000 jobs?
Yes. Yes.
Of course. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And Sanjeev, you're right. This team of executive council members, again, from the government and of course from the corporate, they're going to work. It's a great partnership, a great marriage. And they're going to guide us, advise us, counsel, and of course, there's accountability. And we are going to be again accountable and responsible to them. If we say we're going to deliver, we are going to deliver. So I think that also just increases our onus and we overall bring a huge transparency to the system.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add one point on the startups. I forgot to mention the fact that I also head the NASSCOM's Product Council. I'll chair the NASSCOM Product Council, and under that auspices, deep tech, of course, is a very big piece that we are building out. But we also launched something called NASSCOM Women Product Champions last year. And the intent of that was exactly to do this, to increase the founders. I think we talked about 18%, our numbers say 19%, but it doesn't matter. 1% differential is plus or minus anyway. But I've put it as a challenge for our NASSCOM product team that we need to increase this to at least 35% to start with, on a path to 50-50. So I think the more we can do to support this, and I completely resonate all the challenges as well as the opportunities that exist. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Ram.
Thank you. I think there's some announcements by Bharat. Bharat, over to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So I request the team to play the video of the platform launch. I request Ashwinji Gowda to launch the platform. This is the Women at Work Initiative platform. Just play it 1 second, please.
Yeah.
So where women job seekers can come and register themselves, checking out what is the interest line, and also the industry can come and register and host their skilling programs, will then directly connect to the Karnataka Skill Connect portal. So this is a platform which will be there under the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission platform. It is karnatakadigital.in/women at work. Thank you so much. We have another announcement. We're going to launch another initiative called Future Digital Jobs for Women. So there is 5,000 job openings from industries. And we are inviting application from fresh graduates, from engineering graduates from 22, 23 pass outs, and doing a initial screening of them and giving them 2 to 3 weeks of launchpad training. Post that, they will be directly having interviews with the industries. Another one initiative that we are going to launch is the virtual job fair for women. In association with KSTC, we will be launching a virtual job fair where we invite applications for women, and these applications will be anchored from the Karnataka Skill Connect portal, and the interview also will take place under this portal as well. So thank you so much. Now we have a very great moment that we have a partners here to sign an MOU with KDEM to partner with the Women at Work initiative. Request the MOU partners to come. Upper People World, request the team from Upper People World to come on the stage to exchange the MOU. So it is to collaborate and enhance the women participation in the workforce. They would be skilling women, fresh graduates, and both upskilling the existing workforce. And we are partnering with them, hosting the skilling programs to the Karnataka Skill Connect portal. And also they will be connecting us with the industry who have a lot of opportunities which will be given to the women. Thank you so much. Upper People World and KDEM. Request a round of applause. Request Upper People World team to just talk few words.
Thanks, Bharat. Thanks, Sanjeev, Supriya, and the dignitaries, of course. We've been sitting there and taking all the notes from all the speakers. Like Supriya mentioned, it was spellbinding for sure, right? I'm taking a couple of notes for our Women's Day celebration in office tomorrow for sure. I can just copy paste there. But yeah, from that aspect, yes, Upper People Will and Automate, we call ourselves a talent engineering platform. We support both the talent acquisition and the talent development verticals. And that's where we think we are poised rightly to help both the divisions at sure. Because if I'm only doing TA, I'm probably not helping skilling perspective. And if I'm only doing skilling, I don't understand the placement opportunity of it, right? So we're trying to build the gap from the demand and the supply perspective of it, right? Because when we are talking about speaking to the organizations, a lot of organizations and the industry bodies today are agreeing that the skilling today are standing at percentage globally. We stand at 33% globally, right? So no matter if you are skilling 1,000 people, 100 people, whether you're looking at length or the breadth of it, only the 33% is being completed, right? So what is the change, right? And when we are stitching the TA and the TDPs together, there's the idea to boost that 33% to at least take it to 50%. And that will see a sea change for all of us.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Now we have Brisa Technology team to please come on the stage to exchange the MOU.
Please come, please come. Change the MOUs. Yeah, exchange the MOUs. Yeah, we have two MOUs here. One is for you, one is for KDEM.
Thank you.
Yeah, today being the Women's Day, I thought the best thing to do is to give to my lady. And her name is Suganya, and my name is George Verghese. I represent Brisa Technologies. We are an embedded IoT company based out of Bangalore. We are about 15 years old, and we are a product development company. And also we have a resource augmentation in the line that we work on. During pandemic, we came out with something very interesting. And on that subject, Suganya will speak.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. First of all, happy Women's Day to all the women who are present over here. I'm happy to be, it feels great for me to be part of this young leader, women leaders who are sitting in front of me. Yeah. So coming to Hierathon, Hierathon is a tech hiring platform developed mainly in the vision of helping out the students who really face a lot of difficulty. Presently in the market, it's like, we are mainly, focusing on placing those candidates. We have around like 40,000 freshers onboarded into our platform from various colleges and training institutes across India. So yes, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So if anybody is interested, you could definitely come back to us, and we'll be too happy to give you engineers readily available. Okay, thank you very much. And it's a great pleasure being here. And it's a great initiative by Government of Karnataka. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So now we call Masai School, Pratik and Ankur on the stage, please.
Ram will do the honors. Extending the MOU on behalf of KDEM. Please do come. Yeah, please come. Hi. Hi. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you, Supriya, and everyone for inviting us. And we are glad to be a part of this wonderful initiative. To give you a brief about what we are doing at Masai, we are an outcome-based education institute. We are building skill set among students, and they need to, so we don't charge any upfront fees from the students. They go through our program, and once they graduate and start earning about 5 lakhs per annum, then only they pay us fees. If they don't get a job, they don't pay us a single penny. So that's what Masai School is. In just short 3.5 years of our journey, we have been able to place close to 2,500 students across 21 unicorns and all the major IT giants. And that includes 600 women, those who have participated into the tech ecosystem. Some of them are freshers, some of them have restarted their career. And we are very happy to basically also tell you guys that we have been able to move 200 families out of poverty line just because of generating employment. So I think this is the biggest thing. If we'll be able to skill our workforce and we'll be able to create an employment for them, we are not just helping that person, but we are helping the entire family. So that's what Masai School is all about. And we are partnering with KDEM to train and place 1,000 women in this financial year, and that is something which we want to basically we want to take it to a next level altogether. Thank you so much for having us.
We request. Thank you so much. We request Mr. Lakshmipati Bhatt and team from Robosoft Technologies, Mangalore.
We can ask Suprita to collect.
Suprita, come.
She's taken. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Namaskara and good evening. My name is Lakshmipati Bhatt. My colleagues Nadeem and Suprita. We are from Robosoft Technologies. For those who don't know, Robosoft is a homegrown brand from Udupi. We've been around since 1996. Like everybody else, we've also had the brand name issues. People think we are a robotics company. We were a Mac software development company initially, then mobile app development as a service. Now we are a digital experience company. In August 21, we were acquired by a Japanese company called Technopro Holdings. So we are a subsidiary of Technopro Holdings today. 1,200 as part of Team Robosoft, about 38% women members. And I would tell the team here that with the acquisition of Technopro Holdings, our global reach has increased. The opportunities for on-site work with clients, most of our clients are in the US. So all those opportunities increase, and it's a great time to be part of Team Robosoft. Thank you and we're great to be part of this issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And one more, we have women-led entrepreneur, women-led organization.
Thank you. Thank you.
Zylsky Technologies Private Limited. We request Anita Mani from Zylsky Technologies Private Limited.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and thanks for this opportunity. And I'm very happy to sign this MOU with KDEM. Basically, we are into this multimedia industry. So it's been 4 years. We are training in animation and other, like graphic design course and all. So we have I can't say like exact number, but hundreds of students we have actually about around 80% we usually place the students. So I think having a tie with Skill India and so we do a good job. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we have our next session, which is we have opened the floor for the industry participants to ask questions, to co-learn and collaborate. With us, we have Subha Chandrasekharan from Rhymecraft co-founder. So we can start. I mean, I request you and Priyanka to moderate this session.
Priyanka, can we have you?
I request other speakers to be seated. Thank you.
We are open for question answers, and you see two great women and one moderator woman. Well, go ahead and shoot. And of course, Sanjeev is going to be there to answer everything that comes our way. And we have, Ashwinji too, and Pankaj and Ram. So I think we've got great. Yeah, love that question. Roll it on. There are lots of mics here. If you need to pass along, please take one. No, thank you. Sanjeev, why don't you join us?
First of all, it has been one of the fantastic Women's Day celebration for me. I'm coming from a corporate Kyndryl organization. I've come out of my own interest. I'm the Associate Director for Global Engineering and Adoption. I work closely with the offering and the sales teams to build client offerings. Now, the question that I have is about single parenting. I am strongly supporting single parents across getting back into work. And after COVID, it has been very difficult for a lot of women to get back. So I wanted to understand, how does this organization have a sensitive spin to give opportunities for single parents? And this has been something that the corporates are also trying to tap onto, but they're not very open about exposing the fact that it is single parent, but they try to embed it as a part of their hiring system, right? So how is your organization bringing this into your portfolio of effort?
So, and for that, great question, my God, very thought-provoking. And we are looking at one cohort, which is single parents out there, and COVID hasn't been nice to us as human beings. It has caused a lot of havoc, and we have lost a lot of people. I know that we were part of so many conversations wherein women are there, they have probably never worked, and now they just have to be the providers for the family. It's a situation that is extremely complex and emotional, but thanks for asking. I will invite Ram to answer that, and also why I say that. The question is to industry, and I think we would love to hear what industry is doing, but also because, I think it's just a situation we need to solve, and it's being done, but maybe not in that larger measure. And I know Ashwinji will have an answer too, because maybe they haven't worked before. So I think I can see a few components where we have great, leaders who can answer. One is skill, because if they haven't worked, they can work. If they have had a child and they've gone back, so there's a return. So I think there's a skilling element to it, and then there's an employment element to it. Ram, would it be fair for you to give it a shot?
Thanks for putting me on. But great question. I think from a corporate side, given the privacy issues, sometimes we can't ask certain things, and you're probably quite sensitive and aware of that, right? Now, in terms of supporting, I think we don't single that out based on certain specifics, but we've had some situations. I mean, we have a slightly different, it's not women oriented, but a veterans pod to help veterans come back into the civilian life. As part of that, we've had one or two situations where a spouse of a veteran who actually came up, unfortunately, the veteran had passed away in the line of duty. And we've had a couple of scenarios like that where we've helped the women come back into the workforce, and because they needed, one to come back to workforce and needed a livelihood for the longer term for the children and the rest of the family. So, but to single it out, I think there's if the person voluntarily discloses or talks about it, that's one thing. What we're looking to do, and I think that's probably what we will do here as well, I would imagine, is to actually create a platform that is supportive of different scenarios. I mean, you can have multiple scenarios, but you've cited one. There may be other situations that we are not aware of. I think instead of solving it scenario by scenario, I think what we need to be is to create those kinds of situations that solves for multiple of these kinds of scenarios that may potentially come up, and how do we handle it? Yeah.
Thank you, Ram. That was nice.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add to the situation that you've highlighted. So I'm here representing CWE, which is Catalyst for Women Entrepreneurship, and essentially promoting and encouraging women entrepreneurs and building that ecosystem. But apart from that, I also run my own enterprise, and I'm a coach, and I work with a lot of leaders and startup founders. So I think there's two parts to it. One, like he said, you can't really ask and then categorize and then have jobs specifically for such individuals, and there are many such categories. But I think what's important is that in all of this skilling and bringing women into the workforce, etc., there's a piece of skilling the managers, right? And I think that's a very important piece of managers who are able to have these conversations, who are able to respond to these conversations. If someone brings up something, if someone is willing to be vulnerable and share that, hey, I have a problem or I have a situation, it's not even a problem, I have a situation and I need certain flexibility or I need a certain kind of role or I can't do night shift, whatever that may be. I think a large part of corporate or industry investment has to be in allowing or having conversations with the manager as to how to respond to these requests.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm a single mother and hence I'm asking that question. So thank you so much for giving that a consideration.
Sure. Thank you so much for sharing. If I may add to what has already been said. Yeah. So as a facilitator, as a Skill Connect platform, it is one of the things that is important to us. In fact, we had a lot of employers come to us and say, hey, we want to hire, candidates with disability. We want to hire women only. So we've now decided to actually add that as a feature on our portal so that it becomes more visible for both candidates as well as employers who are inclusive and supportive of such requirements. So this is definitely something we are already looking into as a Skill Connect portal. Awesome. Thank you. More questions? Yes, ma'am, please. One there.
Thanks for a beautiful day. My question here to KDEM itself. See, tech sector has policies and initiative in place to get women back at work. Even without government's initiative, I think the system can thrive in. So I was really not convinced with the challenges the KDEM is trying to address today. Why I say, because VMware and all the companies who talk about today spoke about already the initiatives they have to get back women at work. What is KDEM adding there? That's my first question to sir. But I appreciate that, government is thinking in this direction. And second thing, why restrict to tech world only for women? I have seen people, who are getting graduated as doctors, dentists in women. They don't even have a simple labor policy in place for them, except the corporate hospitals they get into. Why not, in the government power that you guys are in, address this issue for women as well? Why restrict to tech, which is already empowered?
Thank you. Thank you. The second question is the easiest one to ask, sir. We'll pass on this to the Department of Health. They will take care of this question. But the first.
Sorry, my name is Megha. Just a follow-up question. So I thought, let me ask it right away. So, tech, like she rightly pointed out, there's a lot of, impetus by the IT companies. I come from a marketing and sales background. And when I was looking for a job some couple of years back, there is absolutely no place for women in marketing and sales roles in leadership position. Because I also run another network where ladies are, like 15 years, 16 years experience. And the major problem that they're saying is that they don't know how to reach those leadership positions. So this is, not only about, IT and tech and data scientists. What about the other roles? What about marketing? How do they navigate? We are ready. We are skilled. We are equipped with the ecosystem. We have startup founders, everything. But then how do we navigate through the system? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think both the questions are very good questions. One is about the KDEM. Every industry which is doing an effort has to be now culminated into an impact. And that impact can only happen if you have collective people coming together and a large scale that you can bring in. What KDEM is doing is bringing out all these people together and making it scalable where we can reach out to the larger audiences. Fortunately, we are in Bangalore, good to know. But the VMware initiatives or another corporate's initiatives at the level of O2P women community, are they aware about it? And can they access to that? Is what we're trying to amplify these efforts. You will find the impact coming in place, not by developing new strategies. We are enablers. The KDEM and the government are enablers. We bring the efforts of all the great work the corporates are doing it and see how we can create a positive impact into the community at large. It's an objective on which you're working on. The second question that you're talking about is, in Priyanka, I think you should talk about of Karnataka Skill Connect portal, where variety of job offerings are there. And I request you, why don't you elaborate a little bit more onto this?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I think it is related to the part of the workforce that actually drops out at a very high rate, right? You're looking at leadership positions with 10 to 15 years experience. So as I'll speak about the portal, but I'll also add, a personal anecdote to it. So as a portal, we are very keen on getting high quality jobs that cater to all of the diverse talent that we have on the platform. While our platform is predominantly for freshers, but this is also a platform to help people who've dropped out of the workforce or who've never worked before but would like to work, after having spent a lot of time at homes. So when we work with employers, we actually onboard them for various roles, not just at the fresher level, right? To your particular question around marketing and sales, I would say people in marketing and sales are probably the best place in terms of building brands. So I think our entrepreneurship initiatives that we have are a great sort of platform for people within marketing and sales to actually build their own businesses. So a lot of initiatives to nurture women entrepreneurs within KDEM and the KSTC ecosystem. The personal anecdote is probably around, I'm probably in that bracket with the 10 to 15 years experience who decided to step out of corporate and look for something interesting. So I resonate with what you're saying deeply. And I think initiatives like this, where you can meet a bunch of other women who are part of this ecosystem, are probably great places for you to start having conversations. And that is why we organize forums like this. Even if you end up taking 5 business cards today after this session, I think that's a big win for you. So take the opportunity to have tea chat with like 5 other people. I think there'll be great things that will come out of those conversations.
And thank you so much. And we request Priyanka to give vote of thanks. Thank you.
Please, yeah. Yeah.
On the customs related subject, past 15 years, I'm almost 30 years in this industry. Till now, I didn't get any candidate. We have to take the experienced candidate or fresher candidate, train them 2 years. Right now, I have 5 to 6 opportunities, but I don't have candidate. The subject of the skill is on customs related. See, government has introduced a beautiful scheme called Mover, which it's a manufacturing industry. When they import, they do not to pay duty. To handle that, nobody knows. Even I get a resume, MBA, BA, but nobody knows how to handle this. Really, right now, we are suffering. You ask any logistics, supply chain management, no skill. So government has to focus on supply chain management skill. Really, it's a big opportunity in future.
Absolutely.
There's an opportunity for another business for you also.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much.
Thank
we can
you.
take only one more question for paucity of time, please. We really need to close. Anyone? Are we good? Thank
Hello,
you.
I just have a question. Sorry. to stop
Okay,
you.
so that's the last one for the day,
Yeah.
but thank you so much. You can always email us and we will be happy to answer later.
So I represent India for Schneider Electric process automation and digital transformation. So I'm very happy to be here and I'm seeing like a lot of synergies. My only question is like, if at all, like you can have a segment oriented, it's easy because segments, when I say it's like very broad and it's easy for like, in corporates or the industries like us to come and approach you.
Awesome.
That's all I have.
Thank you. That's great feedback and we welcome that.
I'll just add a line to that. KSTC is sector agnostic, so we work with different sectors. So please feel free to, have a conversation with us after this.
Sure.
Happy to work with you.
Thank you. And thank you so much. It's really heartwarming to know that, there's such keenness towards the partnership. Thank you. Over to
Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you for your cooperation. And I request Priyanka to give vote of thanks.
I won't take too much time because I think we're all waiting to have coffee or tea. So first of all, it's overwhelming to see the number of men in the room. This is probably the first Women's Day event that I've seen so many men. So I think that in itself is a big win. So it's a great sign. And it's also very heartwarming to see that we have so many people from the industry, academia, policymakers, government to come together, at this forum. It is a testament of what we are going to embark on in terms of building a more equitable society. I would like to thank our Honorable Minister Ashwath Narayan, who really wanted to be here but could not be here due to a last-minute engagement. So although he couldn't be here, I know that he is behind a lot of these initiatives with his ideas. I would like to thank Ashwin Gowda, MD KSTC, for gracing the occasion. I would also like to thank Mr. Sanjeev and Supriya for anchoring this event and bringing together all these stakeholders before I go on to thank all the industry partners who came. I would like to thank Mr. Ramkumar Narayan, MD and VP VMware. I'd like to thank Anshuma Singh, Applied Materials. I knew about the company. And I'd like to thank Rajita Kulkarni, who was with us from Sri Sri University. I'd also like to thank Mr. Pankaj Rai, Chief Data Analytics Officer, Aditya Birla Group. I'd like to thank Ms. Shalini Natraj for sharing such a personal story. I really appreciate that. I'd like to thank Ms. Iqbal Kaur, business leader in AI and data sciences. And I'd like to thank, I'll go slow. I'd like to thank Ms. Swati Kulkarni. I think that was a very powerful speech and totally resonated with that. Also like to thank Kalpana Sindhu, partner at OneCraft. I'd also like to thank the team at KDEM, Bharat and team, for organizing this wonderful event. I think having this conversation is definitely a great starter for many conversations to be born. I hope all of you have had a fruitful sort of engagement here attending this ceremony. I'd like to thank all of our industry partners who made the time to attend this event, as well as media partners. Now I request all of you to join us for some tea and coffee.
We'd like to have a group photo from the speakers. So speakers, if you can come on the stage. And we have arranged IT, and also there are startups of showcasing their products and services. Please take away women-led startups. Request KDEM team to come on the stage, please. I request KDEM team to come on the stage. I'll change my background though. Request once again KDEM team to join the stage. Avinash, Sudhir, please.
Thank you so much. There's an IT arrange. Request everyone to please.